Okay, link me the one Asmon video guy.
There's been a lot of excitement about bringing back
2.5
slavery.
hours,
It seems like we won't have to. If you steal from a store, instant mandatory prison time. I would do mandatory prison labor, and I would punish the people that wouldn't do it. But I would actually be the most pro-freedom president ever. In general, there was a big protest yesterday. People broke into the Capitol building, did all kinds of bad. Most reasonable people look at this and view it as a disgrace. This is the Gutex. Is there going to be civil unrest today? It is about as close to a call to violence as possible. That is almost verbatim what Aragorn has said in Lord of the Rings in Helm's Deep. There's a lot of people out there, they get left behind by the system. You know, they get themselves into these like real deep conspiracy theories, right? Some people find Jesus. Some people find Alex Jones. Some people find Antifa. But the end result of all of these things is dogmatic behavior. It's a vicious cycle where like you get crazier and then more people don't want to talk to you. More people don't want to talk to you, so you get crazier. And then more people don't want to talk to you because you're even crazier, and then you get even crazier.
He just died.
I think anybody who stepped foot inside that Capitol building yesterday should be charged. There is a process to changing how things are. Is it right to kill terrorists? Not without a trial. You don't just shoot people randomly. Who determines who a terrorist is? The person with the gun? What happens when they're wrong? Do you ever think about this? We have a system for dealing with people that break the law and are threats to society. Use the fucking system.
I don't even know where to begin with how to describe Asmongold to someone who's never heard of him, the dead rat he used as an alarm clock, or the fact that he's one of the biggest streamers in the world, likely because of the mindset that would use a dead rat as an alarm clock and freely admit to it. I will say that if it weren't for his politics, he'd probably be the platonic ideal of a streamer. Someone who can spend hours a day enthusiastically yapping about anything, mainly video games. In a similar experience to reconnecting with an old friend. But then you hear the political takes and it becomes less like reconnecting and more like getting cornered at the high school reunion. Still, the man dominates in the streaming space with 2.2 million followers on Twitch, 30,000 concurrent viewers, and over 4 million subscribers on YouTube, despite never really changing up his core format, where some streamers will grow into new settings, bigger guests, more production value, fancier shot callers. Asmongold's brief expansions have found him ultimately reverting back to a starting point. What bits of Asmongold I've encountered myself are the clips that get passed around on social media, so I want to see whether they were a good representation of what he actually believes.
I will say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Or if he's just been taken out of context all this time. And so, I watched his streams for a week, and I'm gonna tell you what I learned. And if you enjoy my suffering, please subscribe to my Patreon, no obligation. Starting in 2026, I'm gonna start providing more rewards there than just the opportunity to give me money, which I do greatly appreciate.
He can't do a video because I'm just been playing Arc Raiders. Hell
Another
yeah.
day, huh? Another fucking day.
We begin where we'll end, in Asmongold's attic, and much like the Shel Silverstein poem, though the house is dark and shuttered, I can see someone inside looking out.
Oh. Oh, God. Oh, shit. Governor, name a VTuber without the letter B. Iron Mouse, literally in 1 second. Yeah, Iron Mouse, Fillion, Sobervale. Who is this retard? Anyway, it's gotta just be engagement bait, right? It just pissed me off. I saw it, right? Well, that's true. Yeah, being fat is disgusting. But, you know, unfortunately, Twitch doesn't agree with me.
If you were looking for some kind of filter between the mouth and the mind, for better or worse, you're in the wrong place. Probably should have warned you earlier, but,
when do we boycott Twitch? I mean, you are right now. There are millions of dollars that get evaporated from Twitch because they have to pay for my web hosting.
It surprised me to find out it's true that the web hosting for a major streamer is this expensive. However, that's a cost Twitch definitely understands and accepts, given that they've had more than one opportunity to drop Asmongold, and CEO Dan Clancy has a well-known deference for Hassan, who's on the opposite end of the political spectrum. In the lead-up to talking about Hassan's China trip, Asmon watches a video about a fancy Huawei laptop.
If you search 1989, it explodes.
Which segues into a conversation about his broader view of capitalism.
So the U.S. doesn't practice free market capitalism? Wait, no, of course we don't. Like, I mean, not in an ultimate sense. Why would anybody? Oh God, it's a dishonest retard. I don't even want to read it. It's gonna make me mad.
What?
If you don't have a regulated free market, you won't have a free market. You're gonna have a few guys that get in control of it, and then now they're the regulators. Why do you think that we have to have a rule against monopolies? Do we have to have a rule against, selling products for free? No, we don't really have a law against that because it's not business. It's not business efficient to do that.
There are rules against setting prices too low because companies seeking to create monopoly can just starve out competition.
I didn't really get a lot of sleep last night, if you want me to be honest, so I'm probably having a few misfires. I want the Chinese government to get obliterated? Well, then you should hope for the Chinese people to do that. Only the people can hold their government accountable, right? You know, we can't go and change it and then assume...
I think Mike's approach makes sense coming from his position. It doesn't mean he thinks it's true or incredibly good. Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. I'm sorry if I was too negative. I like that he's getting more involved. I think it's really good to have more like actual professionals getting involved, because generally when it's just single doctors or single like educated people, they're usually the fucking lunatics. So I'm always supportive of more educated people getting involved. I think he's doing a good job. He's learning. That was like his second Jubilee appearance. I think he's doing fine. He'll get there.
That's going to get better, right?
Tucker Carlson's morning newsletter mentions Hassan's trip to China.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, look who it is. That's speak English, right? So it's just electric talk.
Asman actually calls it out as disingenuous.
This is right-wing stuff that's disingenuous in the same way that Hassan can be about left-wing stuff. Don't defend Hassan. I'm not defending Hassan. I'm just defending what I think is true. And I think that if you have to attack people based off of things that aren't true, maybe the reason is because you're actually wrong. I think that sometimes people like to misinterpret things intentionally and then get mad at them for that.
The president of Syria and ex-Al-Qaeda member Abu Muhammad al-Jawlani met with President Trump at the White House, which is a sentence that would probably kill the average person from 2004.
You know, they say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And apparently that's what's happening. This is crazy. This guy is a head-chopping ISIS guy. Everybody has, you know, a rough past, right? I mean, things happen. I think it'd be nice if we just didn't have an endless war with the Middle East. And if that means we got to invite a few head choppers over to the White House, that is what it is.
This is pretty racist, but you're probably not going to convince anyone that it is, given that Jawlani and members of his government have actually overseen executions.
It's cheap. You just, what do you got to buy them food? Like, that's it?
Okay, but that actually is racist. A lady at a wrestling show got mad at one of the wrestlers, leading to her getting forced away by him.
Fat Karen versus a big-ass dude. There is no need to be going around and touching people. You don't need to be doing that. You can't understand the mind of a fat person. It just doesn't, like, there's no logic to it, right? It's
really?
Just, it's probably...
Most of your audience must be overweight, bro. No?
Fat jokes are going to be
Hello?
a frequent occurrence. You will not be spared. Someone posted a meme in Asmongold subreddit about Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad, if you recall that controversy.
Yeah, I don't know how this happened. This was so stupid.
But that's not important. What is important is Asmongold's perspective on intelligence related to someone's susceptibility to manipulation.
So it's easy to take advantage of like a middle intelligence person, and it's harder to take advantage of a smart person, and it's also harder to take advantage of a dumb person. And they never question themselves, and anything that reaffirms what they already believe about themselves, they will instantly agree with it, right? And so because of that, you can prey on people's biases, and you can take advantage of them that way.
Depends on how you qualify it, but generally speaking, there's no level of intelligence that immunizes from being taken advantage of or scammed, and there's evidence to say that being smarter would actually make it more likely. I want you to hold this in your mind as we go along.
And smart people can do that too. They can, but I think that with big groups like Reddit, it's very easy to do that because of the groupthink that it kind of reinforces. And I think that's what happens in a lot of cases.
Some news about the LGBT community in China.
Apple removes 2 gay dating apps in China. I've always said this, and I'll say it again. Every company, all they do is they make money. China hates gays. Well, I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know if they hate gays, but my understanding is that they're not, you know, as progressive as necessarily we are.
The Chinese government is getting worse about gay rights, even as the people are slowly becoming...
You know, the thing that's fucking annoying is that Asmongold has a way of viewing the world. And like I said, like Asmongold falls into this trap of being like an intelligent person, but he just is too lazy to read or collect like real data. So he's got like good heuristics and good logic, but he won't actually like do any research. And I feel like it is so much more convincing. This guy is not communicating with me at all. It's so much more convincing than Hassan, who is like clearly having to like twist himself into like a fucking pretzel to make anything make sense. It is so, ugh. Hold on, I'm waiting for this to take off. Kill him? No, he's dancing, bro. How am I gonna kill the guy dancing? Let me use the restroom real quick. One sec. Whoa!
more accepting.
I never even think about whether a guy is gay or not, right? I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe that's weird, but it just never even comes into like my fucking my orbit of thinking. Right? Yeah, who cares? Yeah, who gives a shit?
Steam announced new hardware for 2026.
A big black box. Yes, exactly. And what we have here is a small black box. Dreams come true. My best advice is not to buy one of these necessarily. It's not to buy a pre-built. It's to build your own. And my best advice for people that are buying their own, there are two things not to skimp out on. Don't skimp out on your power supply, and don't skimp out on your motherboard.
My knowledge of tech is limited, but I think this is good advice. Someone made a dating sim and included Asmon as a character.
Okay.
I have forbidden you to wash your hair.
What?
I do not wish to see what little hair that remains get washed away.
Are you kidding me?
I'm tired.
Who did this? Sounds nothing like you. That's okay. I don't really care, okay?
And then he gets to a post about someone fanficking Hollow Knight characters as queer.
Tell me that you have issues with your sexuality without telling me, well, actually, you are telling me that you have issues with your sexuality. What a weirdo. Like, putting all these sexualities on different characters in a video game, this is one of the really weird things that, like, a lot of these, like, gender warriors do, is that they try to rewrite everything to include themselves. Whitewashing? Well, I'd say this is rainbow washing.
I'm sure Asmon won't do something just like this before the end of the week.
I mean, I don't think anybody cares about this kind of stuff, right? The people that do are kind of weirdos. What's next? Smurfette is trans. You'd really be surprised.
Matthew McConaughey and Mike Cocaine apparently pulled an Ariel and sold their voices to an AI company in exchange for human legs. And Asmon takes it as an opportunity to talk about people on Twitter who dislike AI.
There's like a few weirdos on Twitter that are like constantly at war with AI, and they think that somehow they're going to win.
Why didn't you get rage baited when he talked about PC stuff? Wait, who, Asmongold? Wait, I don't even...
Dreams come true.
I was typing something. I didn't even listen. I hate politics.
My best advice even comes
What did he
into
say?
like my
Hold
fucking my orbit of thinking. Right? Yeah, who cares? Yeah, who gives a shit?
Steam announced new hardware for 2026.
A big black box. Yes, exactly. And what we have here is a small black box. Dreams come true. My best advice is not to buy one of these necessarily. It's not to buy a pre-built. It's to build your own. And my best advice for people that are buying their own, there are two things not to skimp out on. Don't skimp out on your power supply, and don't skimp out on your motherboard.
My knowledge of tech is limited, but I think this is good advice. Someone made a dating sim and included Asmon as a character.
Why did you make me watch this? Don't bait me on this. The first thing was retarded, and the second thing was also retarded, but you might not think it's retarded because you're overanalyzing it. When you said don't skip out on your motherboard, just have any major motherboard. Most people, in my experience, well, I'm an unk when it comes to computer shit, so maybe it's changed a lot. But back in the day, most people dramatically overspent on the motherboard. Like, they would always have these X chipsets or whatever else, and you could just get like the H or the B chipset, and it's fucking fine, okay? Nobody was running SLI, Crossfire, like fucking stupid shit like this. People are talking about like, I gotta make sure I got the best Japanese caps for my I don't know if I have enough VRMs. And it's like, what do you, bro? Stop, okay? You don't need this shit. You're fine. Get a B whatever chipset. Get a fucking small form factor case. You're good, okay? The cheapest fucking motherboard you want, and you're probably gonna be fine. Number one. Number two, when he says don't skimp on your power supply, there might be an intelligent reading of that, where he's saying make sure that you're buying power supplies from reputable brands, or he's just saying make sure that you get like the platinum efficiency or fucking highest wattage power supply. Don't do that. Higher wattage power supplies have optimal efficiency curves, and if you have one that's too big, you're not even in the good efficiency range. Number one. Number two, most major manufacturer PSUs are probably going to be fucking fine. I don't know how much jitter or unreliable voltage on your 12-volt rails or whatever the fuck exists in like any major PSU manufacturer today. You're probably fucking fine. Probably. But like if you want, you can always look up like which Corsair brands or not brands, which Corsair models are good or which Seasonic models are good, but like you're probably fine. The most important two things, though, which is stupid to even say because you know is your CPU and your GPU. Like, that's the most important thing. Ugh, I hate night raid on this fucking map.
Okay.
I have forbidden you to wash your hair.
What?
I do not wish to see what little hair that remains get washed away.
Are you kidding me?
I'm tired.
Who did this? Sounds nothing like you. That's okay. I mean, again, I don't really care, okay?
And then he gets to a post about someone fanficking Hollow Knight characters as queer.
Tell me that you have issues with your sexuality without telling me, well, actually, you are telling me that you have issues with your sexuality. What a weirdo. Like, putting all these sexualities on different characters in a video game, this is one of the really weird things that, like, a lot of these, like, gender warriors do, is...
Expensive MOBAs have a lot of good shit on them, like more M2 slots and USB-C. So? What a fucking retarded take. Oh, I've got 52 million M2 slots. Like, you want a hot take? Here's a hot take. I don't even know if this is true, but I'd put money on it. Over 50% of the people that buy motherboards with additional M2 slots probably don't even know they have to unscrew the heatsink to even see where it plugs into the motherboard. They have no concept even of this. It's fuck off. If you need extra features from your motherboard, you will know you need extra features. If you don't, buy the cheapest motherfucker motherboard.
That they try to rewrite everything to include themselves. Whitewashing? Well, I'd say this is rainbow washing.
I'm sure Asmon won't do something just like this before the end of the week.
You're retarded if you think M2 isn't standard now. First of all, I doubt that the average computer is using an M2 SSD. I almost wonder if SSDs are even the standard now, if people are still using hard disks. I don't think you have any fucking concept of how far behind the average consumer PC is from like where like performance PCs are. Number one, I would hope they're on solid state drives now. I would imagine would be the standard. Number one. And number two, you said extra M2 slots, not just a single M2 slot. Retard.
I mean, I don't think anybody cares about this kind of stuff, right? The people that do are kind of weirdos. What's next? Smurfette is trans. You'd really be surprised.
Matthew McConaughey and My Cocaine apparently pulled an Ariel and sold their voices to an AI company in exchange for human legs. And Asmon
Audio can be quite a big difference between motherboards, though. Even the no, shut the fuck up. Stop.
it as an opportunity to talk about people on Twitter who dislike AI.
There's like a few weirdos on Twitter that are like constantly at war with AI, and they think that somehow they're going to win. AI is inevitable. Here's how you know that there are only a few people that actually care. That's how you know. It's because you don't listen to what people say, you listen to what they do.
I think this is an imperfect argument because it assumes people playing know it uses AI and that people who oppose AI have equally absolute opinions about it.
Never, because people are retarded. They're going to say things they don't really believe. They're going to say the way that they think should be, the way they think things should be, rather than the way they are. AI is a massively positive and massively popular thing, and don't let a handful of furries on social media convince you.
What are the Steam average hardware insights? Does it tell you stuff about storage? I don't know, so I didn't go look that shit up.
Otherwise,
a Moroccan immigrant in Portugal mugged someone, which is proof that Europe is being overtaken by criminal foreigners who all need to be removed.
I would never want to go to Europe to vacation.
Europe.
And the reason why is that the police don't protect you.
The murder.
Is there a difference in the sound quality of the device outputs for most computers and phones if you ran it through a good speaker? Your motherboard is not gonna matter much here in terms of any other thing. There's two parts for there's different parts for producing sound, but you have your DAC, which it converts the digital zeros and ones to an analog signal. And then you have the actual speaker components and amplifier and everything else, which is going to be in your headphones or whatever else. But for 95% of people, a fucking USB anything is going to be fully sufficient for any of this. You don't have to worry about any of this bullshit. But imagine buying an external sound card like you're a fucking audiophile in 2025. Stop. When 95% of people are using fucking AirPods and fucking Google Buds and shit, or some high percent. Come on, stop.
Europe.
And the reason why is that the police don't protect you.
The murder rates in every European country are drastically lower than in the United States, and overall crime has trended downward the last 2 decades.
So yeah, that's Africa, brother. I mean,
And Asmongold misses someone doing a racism.
What was it? Morocco. Morocco is that's in Africa. It's at the top of Africa. Yeah, that's in Europe, bro. What do you mean? Poland, I would go to. Okay.
He watches a video about.
Wait, what? What the fuck is he talking about?
And the reason why is that the police don't protect you.
The murder rates in every European country are drastically lower than in the United States, and overall crime has trended downward the last 2 decades.
So yeah, that's Africa, brother. I mean, like, well,
And Asmongold misses someone doing a racism.
what was it? Morocco is like, yeah, that's in Africa. It's at the top of Africa. Yeah, that's in Europe, bro. Like, what do you mean? Poland, I would go to. Okay.
He watches a video about China making robots.
I mean, we are obviously going to make robot slaves that do our activities at home for us, and I think that's a good thing. By the way, this is a great thing. Now, instead of because we won't have to bring back slavery. A lot of people have been talking. There's been a lot of excitement about bringing back slavery.
Who said that?
It seems like we won't have to because we're going to have robots instead. And I don't know what we're going to do with all those people. Maybe we'll just have we're just going to kill them.
And a clip of people making Lord of the Rings jokes about racial crime statistics.
Orcs only make up 13%.
No. Hey, I didn't say it. Okay.
Meme the other day where it was.
If you think he has intelligence, it's this mainly just due to him spending too much time on X. Yeah, people don't realize. I made this when that guy used to help me, or not help me, when I used to help the guy do the little class presentations for the college or whatever that he'd bring me in to do the Zoom things on for a couple years. He would ask me about like media consumption. And one of the things I always point out to people is if you are passively getting fed something for media, you're not doing any work in terms of informing yourself. So if you're sitting in front of a feed that is giving you stuff that it thinks you want to see, you're doing something different than like news analysis or news media consumption. When Asmongold is just scrolling X, it's showing you what you like. That's what it's doing. It's not good. It's not a good way to consume the news.
Like, the Shire's losing population. Should the hobbits more should we import goblins?
And that allows me to segue into a story about actual immigration. Greece is trying to test immigrants to confirm their ages. One aspect of it which supersedes the others is a wrist x-ray that doctors have criticized as having up to a 2-year margin of error, and opting out automatically lists you as an adult. So there's no way to know if these numbers are accurate.
What the fuck? Only 10 were actually kids? Ugh. So that means they're going to end up being sent to a high school with kids and they're an adult?
Only if they're going to star in a CW show.
It's always like that? Yeah, that's why you can't let them in. You shouldn't let them in. I say it all the time. I don't know why they do that. And to appear not racist? Yeah, I guess so.
And now we've reached Hassan in China.
One of my biggest pet peeves also, and you should always, this is like a huge heuristic in terms of whether or not somebody is like full of shit or you should take their opinion seriously on anything, is whenever somebody like reads a thing or states a position from somebody that seems like clearly and obviously bad, like almost like begging the question levels of bad, like, oh, today, like the government of ABC said that they were going to be chopping off the dicks of every single person that says too many vowels in the day. Like, wow. And like their next thing is like, why would you ever do that? This is fucking crazy. Either like, if they haven't even begun to make an effort to figure out like, well, why are they doing that? They're not to be taken seriously because they're either misstating the policy or sometimes, believe it or not, surprisingly, there can be some things that appear outwardly to be like kind of bad or stupid. But then when you hear the rationalization for it, you're like, oh, okay, I guess this makes sense. Sure.
Police Story is such a good movie, you guys. Lonerbox gives the consensus opinion here.
How moronic do you have to be to go to China, a country that you're clearly planning on doing propaganda for, to get your narrative contradicted on fucking day one, where some come up.
Really bad.
That's what happens.
Really bad.
Wrong. And when you can never be...
I just can't believe how humiliating... I can't imagine... This is like a worse than a pirate software moment. For Hassan to go to China and day one get media censorship... Like, some of the things that Hassan says on stream are just so also beyond shameless. Like, when he's like, guys, censorship, guys? Come on, it's just social media. That's like the biggest thing you can possibly censor.
Wrong, you end up never being right.
Hold on to that one because it's time for Trump and Epstein, with the emails released by Democrats after the government shutdown ended.
Dean Weathers says the new Epstein story is 100 times bigger than Watergate. That's way bigger.
Asman's perspective is that Trump is in the wrong, but he probably didn't do anything, but both parties are bad, and the emails Democrats released are misleading, which means Trump is bad, but he isn't a pedo. If that sounded confusing, let me massage your brain until it is comfortably smooth. Asman says he's willing to believe that Trump is implicated in Epstein's crimes if there's evidence, but he's not willing to accept the evidence. Here's Asman's reaction to the revelation that Trump spent time with the victim at Epstein's home for so several hours.
That doesn't mean that he knew that the person was a victim at all. Like, just because you interact with somebody that was a victim doesn't mean that you know the details of what happened to them.
Trump in this email, a quote, dog that has a bark by Democrats on House oversight.
It's interesting that he agrees with the release of the emails as a tactic to pressure Trump to release the files, even as he doubts their legitimacy.
I'm glad this came out, even though I think that there's a high probability that it could be fake, misleading, or misunderstood, or misinterpreted. Yeah, I think they should release everything completely unredacted besides victims' names and obviously photographs that could be problematic. Oh, it could make somebody look bad? Too bad. You shouldn't have gone to an island with a pedophile. But like, if you know who the victims are, you know who the survivors are, obviously you word filter search the name Trump, right? Can't you just do that for the victims and then just omit those two?
The process of redaction is much more intensive to guarantee there's no way to retrieve information that's removed through various recovery techniques in the paper and the data.
I don't think there's hard evidence that commits Trump to doing anything weird with Epstein. If there was, I think they would have already released it. And if there is, I think that there is as much, if not more, hard evidence against Democrats doing it too. So coping so hard? Well, I'm not coping. I'm just being logical. I don't care. If Trump was in the Epstein files, I would want to know about it. My conspiracy theory is that I think that both parties have a piece of the Epstein files. And because of that, they don't want to release it because I think there is a third party. My opinion is that the most likely candidates for that third party are Israel, China, Russia, in that order, that have the entire Epstein files. And if these files are released in a partial amount, they will then be released by this foreign third party in their entirety.
It's always Israel. At this point, no, I don't think I'll ever actually be numb to that.
These mails are nothing new? They were already released in 2024?
These emails were not released in 2024. Separate info from the Epstein case was ordered unsealed by a judge in 2023 related to a Ghislaine Maxwell defamation case, but did not contain much information not already known to the public.
Virginia Giuffre has testified multiple times that President Trump did nothing, and she never even saw him at Epstein's house.
Additionally, Greg Price, whose Twitter he's looking at here, is a conservative journalist who got in trouble in 2022 for editing the audio of John Fetterman in his Senate debate to make his ability to speak sound worse, which is the exact same criticism Asman has of these emails for their redactions.
So it's bullshit? Wait, what? You can tell that he's lying by his eyebrow, like some merchant or something like that that's going to sell you snake oil. I don't understand it. It's obviously not a White House cover-up. I mean, was Biden covering it up for 4 years?
Biden wasn't covering up the case. The case was still open for Ghislaine Maxwell's trial until her last appeal was denied in October of 2025. He did not have the authority to intercede in the case to reveal the evidence, and doing so could have given Maxwell grounds for an appeal.
I mean, what are we talking about, a White House cover-up? I mean, if anything, I feel like Trump is really kind of a piece of shit. It's like if you can't even find any evidence of Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew, like why are you going and dragging their name in the mud by saying this if you can't even prove it? That's crazy. The problem is that we can all sit around and theorize on a reason.
Yeah.
But we don't really know what the reason is.
Oh.
That's the truth. True. Nobody really knows. And I think that's why nobody trusts him.
There's a difference between the standard of evidence to convict someone of a crime and the standard necessary to recognize with reasonable certainty that until exonerating evidence emerges, the most likely explanation is the correct one. I doubt Asman would say that O.J. Simpson didn't kill 2 people just because the glove didn't fit. Asmongold reads the GOP Oversight Committee's Twitter response to the Democrats and uses their reasoning to dismiss the emails.
So they released something that was already unredacted, and then they re-redacted it again, and they're trying to think that it's new. Are you seriously?
Are you seriously?
Oh my God.
Are you seriously, guys?
No way. Like,
and the fix is in.
If you are intentionally redacting a name that was previously unredacted publicly,
what?
You're doing that because you're trying to mislead people.
Ooh.
I'm going to put a pretty big if at the start of this just because I might be misinterpreting what I've seen, and this isn't about the victim herself, but what as...
Also, just as a quick thing, maybe this guy will bring it up, I don't know, just because I hear so much stupid fucking shit spoken about when it comes to redactions, when it comes to classified information. A lot of stuff can be like retroactively classified. Like that is a possibility that something comes out and then later on there's a decision made to upclassify something. I don't know if that's a term they use or not, but like you classify something that wasn't previously classified. Like this can happen. So it could be that a new thing is released that has redactions that maybe weren't redacted in a prior thing. It doesn't necessarily mean something wrong has happened. There could also be errors in terms of who is redacting it, although that shouldn't happen. And then I guess you could have people like maliciously redacting stuff. That could happen as well. But like, it doesn't necessarily mean something bad has happened. I don't even know if there were things redacted here that weren't redacted before or what, but just as a heads up on that.
Asmongold is saying about these emails. If I've read what Virginia Giuffre has said correctly, she claims to have only interacted with Trump at Mar-a-Lago when she was employed there, and a couple of times at parties, and said nothing bad happened between them. However, the emails released suggest that she talked with Trump for hours at Epstein's home, which would contradict her testimony. Giuffre isn't alive to correct the record, but if Democrats were willing to lie, as Asman suggests, it would be to their benefit to leave the name unredacted, as it would undercut the testimony frequently cited to say that Trump did nothing wrong. But they didn't, at the wishes of the family who have condemned Republicans for revealing her identity and not Democrats for being dishonest. I won't speak to the rest of the sexual assault accusations against Trump, because even if they relate to the broader context of Trump's relationship with Epstein and how you should interpret these emails overall, I think that might widen the focus too much from what these initially released emails say specifically.
I think people aren't really understanding what happened here. The victim might be afraid. She's dead. She said that she didn't have any problems with Trump and Trump was fine. She went on record and said that.
Again, these emails contradict her testimony, not the other way around.
So the reason why they redacted her name is because if they didn't redact her name, it would have shown, obviously, that this is the person that had already cleared Trump of wrongdoing.
And again, it would have been more beneficial for Democrats to leave the name unredacted, but they did it anyway per the wishes of the family.
Why is Trump not releasing all of it? I think that is a great question. That is an incredible, amazing, great question, and I think people should be asking that all the time.
Asmon will not consider whether this conclusion might be based on where he gets his news from.
How do you solve this problem with the corruption? You don't. The reality is that this problem will probably never go away.
And that is why you shouldn't try to better your life, because you might fail, so it's easier to fail!
We will find out the nature of the Epstein files when we are on Social Security, if Social Security still exists by then.
Good one.
You must all go and spread the word around it!
Because this is never going to go away until everybody that was involved, and everybody who was even involved secondarily, is dead.
Pretty soon, everyone will embrace sadness, and there'll be no such thing as smiling!
And I think even then, we won't really know what happened. And do you not feel bad for telling people to vote for him? No.
King.
No, he's done a lot of things that I agree with. And he's also done things that I disagree with.
I feel so exasperated watching this because it feels like I should be trying to convince Asmongold to change his mind about these things. But if he comes away from hearing about these emails still thinking that Trump is preferable as the most powerful person in the world, I don't know what else I could say.
But I think that both of them are inadequate candidates. That's why I didn't vote for either one of them. Even though I am much more aligned with Trump, that doesn't mean that I totally agree with Trump.
AKA, too lazy to go out and vote. Days, King.
So
King.
Asmon thinks that Trump is the lesser of two evils. What would Asmon actually want if he were president?
I would want to use the military to deport every illegal alien in the country. I would want to bring back insane asylums and put crazy people in insane asylums. And I would reduce foreign aid by about 80%. Maybe not 100%. The goal would be 100%.
What are these numbers?
The beginning would be 80%. I would
just random.
remove any illegals from the census as well.
Illegal aliens are on the census because otherwise resources would get misallocated, and areas with illegal immigrants wouldn't receive enough to provide for those with legal status either.
I would even take people that were residents of the country. If they were not net positive taxpayers and they were not performing an essential job,
Jesus.
I would deport them too.
This would basically trap immigrants already in America in their jobs, leading to greater abuse, while also being ignorant of historical data that shows immigrants yield greater returns on their labor than what they cost to take care of.
Oh, I'd add 2 additional tax brackets for people that are wealthy, for people that are making above $5 and $10 million.
That is a good idea.
Oh, I would double the amount of the money that we put on policing.
Functionally useless, but it'd probably feel nice. The issues with policing aren't directly correlated to funding. They're related to excessive force, corruption, and overall relationship with the population they are entrusted with.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Instant mandatory prison time. Even if you stole a paintbrush. I don't want to live in a world where people steal. I don't want to live in a world where there's violence.
I think I'd have to look this up again. Somebody can fact check me on the subreddit. Is there a person Oh, I think like policing is one of those like very, I think, hard to deny, very boring. It's like an IQ thing, very like boring, very obvious correlation where like when you put more police in an area, the crime tends to go down. You might make some more arrests or whatever, but like victimization surveys and everything else, like when you police an area more, the crime tends to go down. I think those are pretty obvious, pretty basic thing. There might be some areas that are over policed, more money wouldn't help, but in general, like almost everything in the U.S. is kind of like underfunded at the moment. So
hostility, aggression, and turmoil. So just put them in jail. Simple. I would make it to where every prisoner had an extended sentence by about 30 to 50%, and they could work in prison to reduce their sentence that got increased back down to what it was if they wanted to work in prison. And I would do mandatory prison labor, and I would punish the people that wouldn't do it.
This is a violation of the 8th Amendment for cruel and unusual punishment, the 13th Amendment because it's not punishment for the crime they're in prison for, the 14th Amendment because it's a violation of due process, probably the 5th Amendment for double jeopardy, the 9th Amendment just because it's fun, and the 10th Amendment because this isn't a power specifically given by the Constitution to the president, unless in this hypothetical he managed to get this through Congress.
Would you be president? Would you be authoritarian? I mean, I think people would say that I was, but I would actually be the most pro-freedom president ever. Wouldn't reducing the root problems that result in people stealing prevent people from stealing instead of just adding more people to the prison industrial complex, which is designed to make them repeat offenders? Well, they wouldn't have a chance to be repeat offenders because they'd be stuck in jail forever working. And if they're a repeat offender, that's great. Now we have another worker.
I guess we know who was excited about bringing back slavery.
King!
The idea that poverty
Holy
King
Tate!
Is a complete removal of an individual's agency. If you give people more opportunities and more abilities to do things and have a degree of ownership in their own life, then yeah, there are going to be less crimes. So I agree with you. But there will still be crimes after that goes away because there are people that commit crimes that do have money too. That's all people. Universal healthcare? Yeah, we'd have universal healthcare. Because we'd get rid of all the people that are causing problems.
People causing problems, the way Asmongold implies, are not the main impedance to universal healthcare. These ideas contradict each other. You can't create a society without violence and turmoil while aggressively enforcing laws with maximum punishment. You simultaneously need a populace willing to go along with and enforce that system, which creates the dehumanization that leads to greater violence. All the while, they need to bear the increased cost of social services that would face more strain from fewer people being able to pay into it.
Did you ever steal previously? Yeah, I've stolen tons of things. And you know why? It's because I knew I wouldn't get in trouble. Better social services? Yeah, absolutely. I'd give people food stamps. We'd give people, I would invest a lot into autonomous driving cars. They will reduce a number of different industries that are massively, like, I think, a tax burden.
I have no idea why Asmongold thinks this. Maybe there's some logic to it I'm not seeing.
Did you steal when you were an adult? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, multiple times. Tons of times.
Wait, but then why?
Wait, what was he?
Social parasites. Citizens can be freeloaders.
What was he
There are
stealing?
going to be social parasites, and there are going to be useless eaters.
Wait,
and
what
there
does he
are going to
consider
be retards,
stealing? Does he mean, like,
and
pirating,
you know what?
or?
That's fine. We're always going to get some of those. That's the way it goes. How would you build up universal income? By taxing corporations that utilize a tremendous amount of automation and then making them have to help pay for it. And if they don't want to get along with that, then I wouldn't give them access to the American economy and I would heavily tariff them.
Why would they automate when they could just use cheap prison labor in that case? And why would the American market be so valuable at that point when the population is spending so much more of its wealth and resources on maintaining the strict social systems that are implemented?
I have a lot of other ones that are, some of them are a little bit more not stream sufficient, right?
I am incredibly worried about what those could be. But I guess it makes sense given his response to a TikTok compilation of women losing their jobs in the next video he watches.
Total Karen obliteration. Absolute Karen destruction.
These aren't Karens by any stretch of the definition. All they've done is say they lost their jobs. Actually, I don't know what Asmongold's definition of a Karen is. Later on, he explains the attitude that makes someone a Karen,
complaining.
but he'll still apply the moniker to basically every woman that crosses his screen in an unflattering way.
I think that there's a lot of people in these PR, marketing, and fake jobs at these companies, and the companies are starting to realize, hey, wait a minute, we don't need to pay this girl to come here and drink boba tea for 8 hours and then complain that somebody said something that made her mad.
Damn.
And they just fire her.
As Asmongold will come to understand over the course of this video, that is incredibly not what's happening.
Elon Musk took over Twitter, fired 80% of the staff, and nothing changed to the product. In fact, I think the product got better.
Twitter did not get better.
If you think that, I'm sorry, even like privately, even right-wing people will tell you Twitter fucking sucks. Actually, I might even say this publicly now. Everybody acknowledges that Twitter is basically a broken platform. You can fire off tweets kind of like into the wind or whatever, but so much of the website is like botted. So many of the comments are like bots responding to bots, and like the DMs are all completely fucked. Like the fact that we have encrypted DM. When they say encrypted DMs, what does that even mean? Like what? Like that somebody at Twitter can't read them? Is that the whole point? Were they trying to like say like, oh look, like you don't need Signal, you can use Twitter? Like the fact that you have encrypted DMs before you've actually made the platform worth DMing on, and gotten rid of the 50 trillion fucking bot spams everywhere is just so stupid. Oh my god. Also, does breaching these things count as like first wave husks, or does it have to be the big things?
Monetization of posts has created an incentive structure for people to post the most salacious rage bait possible,
shit.
like the one Asmon got caught in earlier, in order to get more views.
It just pissed me off. I saw it, right?
Musk has had the website intentionally altered when it doesn't give him enough attention, or it corrects his unsubstantiated claims. For example, when he said Joe Biden stranded an astronaut on the International Space Station. Also, Musk himself has said that he would unban at least 2 accounts that were removed due to posting CSAM.
Every single other business owner in the world saw that. It's bot crazy now. YouTube is bot crazy too, but YouTube didn't fire 80% of its staff. So is Facebook.
This is where it starts to sink in what's actually happening.
So, I don't know if YouTube's comment section is anywhere near as cancerously fucking botted as X is like gone, bro.
13 million people have been laid off in America. How many people are in the U.S. workforce? 10%. Oh my God. A little bit less, but still. Holy shit. The reality is that these decisions are made in order to maximize shareholder value.
That is true to an extent.
What every single corporation.
The of corporate boards are to seek greater returns on investment, but the goal of the CEO and the goals of a corporation are not always in complete alignment. The average tenure of a CEO does not match the average lifespan of a company, so the goal is to maximize the amount of money they have by the time the CEO leaves, which means that they can ignore long-term strategy in pursuit of short-term gains, which...
While that's kind of true, this is one of the reasons why companies prefer to tie CEO compensation to like stock investment stuff, is because it helps to align the interests of the CEO more with the interests of the company. That might not be true with every corporation, but this is why CEOs are often compensated with stock. You better not fucking shoot me. Okay. Fuck, should I just dip? Is there a way to tell like my current progress on a trial? Like if I'm in game? Oh, new personal best. Oh shit. Hold on, let me get out. No.
Then become the next CEO's problem. For an example of this, see the 2008 financial crisis.
People that work in Amazon fulfillment centers, that's probably the least fulfilling job that you could ever have. People take these jobs because they have to, not because they want to.
Yes, but eliminating the job doesn't...
That's... Hello? Listen, I love being a streamer too, but like, spoiler alert, that's all work. Okay? Wait. Oh, should I wait to call it? Are you guys looting?
Yeah, you can call it.
That's all work. Nobody wants to work. Most people don't like working. That's why it's called work and not recess.
Of the problem of a person needing a job. It's just reducing their options.
They're trying to plot a trajectory for where their business is going to be. So right now, it's doing some people's jobs, and later on, it's going to be doing everybody's jobs. Or more people's jobs.
And again, as Asmongold is about to see, they aren't just letting go of people who don't do anything.
A perfect example of this that we saw earlier this year was when Microsoft let go of Ron Buckton.
That's right. They fired because they didn't need him.
Suddenly discovered to be a slacker after 18 years of promotions? Or is it that executives looked at a spreadsheet, saw his senior level salary, and decided that number was too big?
I do think that, like, I mean, to be fair, like, I'm in general in favor of AI, but I do think they're probably overshooting and probably firing too many people too quickly. But I think that the inevitability of this is not to be denied.
Earlier this week, there was talking about the fact that last year there were 1.2 million graduates for 17,000 jobs.
Then why the fuck do we keep importing people?
Without validating the premise of his description,
what is... Our unemployment is not that high. What? Okay.
Because that's not how immigration works. Put simply, expanding the population isn't a zero-sum substitution of laborers. The necessities of immigrants provide the demand for new services that allow companies and social programs to grow their customer base and funding.
There used to be a retard that would sit there with a screwdriver and screw a bolt into a tire and get paid the equivalent of $75 an hour, live in a beautiful house, have every benefit that he wanted, have a family that he supported, 2 cars and the boat, and go on.
This, everybody believes this, and it is just not fucking true. I don't know if this is like the sitcom like error where people think that like everybody lived in these, you know, types of lives, but it's just not true. This is like somebody going back. There was a meme about this where if you've ever watched like The Big Bang Theory or basically any modernish sitcom, like in The Big Bang Theory, I think Penny is like a waitress or a server, and she lives in like a pretty big apartment. Aren't they in New York City? It's like a nice place, and it's like nobody can afford this on one person's income, especially on a job like that. Like but like that's just, it's for the TV shows, okay?
On vacations.
This is what happens when propaganda is too effective. This belief is based on the visualizations used in ad campaigns merging with stories of expanded workers' rights. Things got better, but the reason we have that imagery is because that's what people aspire to. If they already had it, it wouldn't work in advertising.
What do we do about it? Well, you have to tax companies that are using automation in a way that, you know, you can redistribute the money into the population. But like, it's not going to happen. I think we're going to have to bring back somehow like slavery or something like that. Like, I don't know, maybe feudalism.
Like, you really think slavery is easier to bring back than just higher tax brackets? Really?
It's one or the other. Maybe both. Or you could have a plague. Maybe all 3.
And once that's done, we can finally eradicate all the Puerto Ricans on the planet!
Wall Street literally rewards human suffering. And some
Well, yeah, of course. There's a lot of money you can make off of people being sick.
of you may own...
I went into the fucking the oncology place. I felt like I was walking into the Hilton fucking hotel with my dad. He got pancreatic cancer. And I walk in there, I say, oh, there ain't no way they're curing this shit.
It's not like that as a show of wealth. It's because cancer treatment is awful, and treatment centers try to make things as comfortable as possible for what minimal relief it can provide.
She is right about everything, and it doesn't matter. Nobody knows how to think. Everybody is going to be turned into a battery, and that's just the way it's going to be.
I'm not sure how to square Asmon believing in AI as something that's good for humanity, while also seeing it as something that will help facilitate the destruction of people's general happiness.
I think that if things keep going the way that they do, we are going to have a eugenic effect of the lowest IQ people literally die because they can't take care of themselves. No way, ChatGPT will take care of them. Well, it will tell them, no, you don't want a soda today. You want to drink bleach. And they'll be like, really? Okay, all right.
And as you can see from the smiling mask behind Asmongold's head, the next video he watches is an anti-Semitic right-wing nutjob. And I don't mean that as an insult, I mean in his video about the Inquisition, he asserts anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. You can check out this guy's video if you want a full breakdown, telling us why the Crusades, which killed millions of innocent people, were good actually, because at least it was in the name of defeating Muslims.
Ridley Scott, the director of the film...
I'm gonna die in this night raid, I'm gonna get triggered.
You can see why he deliberately portray things this way. The events are held as a staple of why we need separation of church and state.
Asmon can recognize that's propaganda, but much like Hassan, he basically leans into it anyway.
By 900 AD, Islam had expanded, by conquest, all the way to France and southern Italy.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
They turned the Mediterranean into an unsafe hellhole. This crashed the European economy and...
Wait, so you're telling me that all the way back then, they were going out and fucking with boats? And now they're still going out fucking with boats? 1,000 years! Been dealing with these guys fucking with boats.
According to the UN, an estimated 32,000 people have died since 2014 trying to reach Europe by boat.
Islam's so-called golden age... age came at Europe and Christianity's expense. This is the true reason that many consider the years 600 AD to 1000 AD a dark age for Europe.
The label Dark Ages is a misnomer based on the premise of this period in history not having a significant number of written records, which in itself is also not true.
Here's how historian John J. O'Neill describes the circumstances.
John J. O'Neill is not a historian. I couldn't find any actual mention of him on the internet outside of the ebook PaxTube is citing here.
Based.
Oh boy, burning cross imagery.
Who's controlling Jerusalem right now? I actually don't even know.
Hassan doesn't know what the Western Wall is, but Asmongold doesn't even know where it is.
Jewish people have it now. Israel has it now. So all this was for fun.
But you know what? And this is this is the thing. Asmongold is just more honest sometimes about how like dumb or doesn't give a fuck about some things he is, right? Like at points, like if he just doesn't know, he'll just say it. It's not like he pretends to know shit. He'll just fucking use heuristics to be way too confident on shit that he's too lazy to actually do research on, and then on other shit he just doesn't give a fuck. God, I hate Hassan so much. I can't believe these are the two largest fucking political streamers on Twitch. Kill me. Kill me. Bro, get this shit out of here. Get that shit out of here.
Nothing. I'm sorry, but like I cannot get over the irony of the Muslims and the Christians fucking fought and killed each other over Jerusalem for like 1,000 years, and now the Jews have it. Neither of us have it. It's the Jews that have it now. But I do think that it seems like the Crusades were not a universal, like one-dimensional moral evil. I think that seems to be the case.
Okay. Nope, millions died. The threat to individual people on the ground does not justify the actions undertaken in the name of conquest and empire by kings and popes. Lastly, Asmon gets triggered by a video game review.
Eurogamer is totally captured by identity politics and progressive values.
True.
And all these people are losing their jobs, and we're going to send them all back to McDonald's. All of these different media companies, they are all biased. None of them should be trusted. The only people you should trust are individual YouTube creators, and even them you should take with a massive grain of salt, even including me. I said there's never a book in cursive. I don't need to read that.
True.
But I never read books either.
It was the same thing.
The fact that kids today aren't forced to learn cursive, bro. They used to tell us that shit all the time. When you go to college, you think they're going to let you print for your assignments? Absolutely not. Every single assignment is going to be done in full cursive. I feel like I might have been like the last year generation of kids that learned that, or maybe one or two after me did, like years after me did, but Jesus.
Talking earlier, where like people grind for games because they don't have anything else going on in real life.
And
actually, fuck, wait, even my assignments in high school, I didn't have to fucking write in cursive. Right? I don't think I did. I graduated in 2007. Wait, did you ever have to? I feel like I had to use cursive in grade school. I don't know if I ever had to use cursive in high school. What the fuck? Wait, when the fuck was this ever even required ever?
That was just
like
day one.
Silver 2 to Silver 1, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. I'm so sick. I'm killing it in real life.
You feel like you're not wasting your time.
Exactly.
Like, there is no better feeling than to play video games all day and to go to bed and know you did something. And I felt that way.
Guys, where does the spider spawn on this map?
For me is I turned like 27 because I was like, man, I've been doing this for like 10 years nonstop. And my friend just got married, and my other friend has a job, and I have I've got this new mount, you know, it's pretty cool.
You said a quote years ago that really fucked me up. You're on Facebook, and you see all these middle-aged women posting about the Minions movie, taking their kids out to the movie theater, and then you realize those middle-aged women were your classmates in high school, bro.
It was a real reality check. I had to lay down after that one.
Yep.
Yeah. And well, I think that also, like, a lot of these games, right? I mean, they do kind of, like, they're super cheerful, they're really happy, and so I think that they do have, like, a big appeal to people that are kind of, like, feeling empty, or they don't really have something going for them in real life, and then so they play these games, and it makes them feel better. Usually whenever I'm laying in bed, I'm just on my phone. Like, video games, to me, it's like, oh, that's work, right? Like, because usually, like, what I do is I'll just read Twitter and then respond to people on Twitter. I'll be like, yeah, you're fat, something like that, right?
Well, that's a strong indicator for how today's gonna go. Guys, trans in bathrooms.
And fat people.
ATSTs. How is it that we had this right for 2,000 years, and now we're literally reinventing the wheel?
We did not. Bathrooms segregated by sex and or gender are a modern idea.
What did you, like, watch movies growing up where they, like, the people get bullied in the men's bathroom?
Trans people do experience higher risks of harassment and assault when using public bathrooms.
If you make people use the bathroom that their sex is at birth, right? Then you're also going to have women that transition to men walking in the women's bathroom. No matter which way you cut it, you're going to have people that look like guys walking into the women's bathroom.
That is correct.
The best solution is just to have a third fucking bathroom.
While this notion is common, it does
Why
not
not
solve the
just
inherent
fucking who
problems
the
for
fuck
either party.
cares?
People who
Oh
want
my
bathroom bans are
god.
trying to push trans people out of public life altogether, and trans people wouldn't be any safer because the very premise makes it easier to identify them. The issue isn't trans people. It's people willing to harass others based on assumptions that aren't even correct a lot of the time. But maybe they're all just Karens, right?
Like,
True.
ultimately, you know, bathrooms are supposed to be like gender safe spaces, right? I mean, generally.
That was the original justification for sex-segregated bathrooms when they were established, because men didn't know how to handle women in the workplace because they believed they belong in the home.
This would have never happened if
Or
women couldn't vote.
sexually assaulted.
Man, so true, brother. So true, absolutely.
And that was the original mindset.
Like, I don't think the world has to become comfortable with these people. I think these people have to be comfortable with the world.
There's a slim degree of truth to this, insofar as pushing for rights is a slow, painful process. But the same can be said in the exact opposite direction, that personal discomfort is not broad justification for exclusion. The streamer Valkyrie had a minor controversy over her wardrobe.
Like, I wouldn't wear, like, if Balenciaga sent me something, I would wear it if I thought it was comfortable, you know, or I liked the way it
Valkyrie's
looked.
statement here was hilarious.
You get all these strings attached to you, bro. And you get enough strings attached to you and you become a puppet. Said high-priced merch is the way to liberate retarded people from their money. Yeah.
I think Asmon just indirectly called her the R-word. Hassan's back in China again.
Okay, what is he wearing? I don't know what nobody knows. He's in another country, but I'm still on his mind. What can I say? It's because I play video games a lot. And I play their video games a lot. What I think is even funnier is that a lot of my viewpoints on the way video games should be made and the types of things that should and should not be included in video games. Do you know who agrees with me on that a lot?
Your mom?
Chinese people.
No, it's the Chinese government.
They killed the
As
spider.
Libby pointed out, media is heavily regulated and censored in China.
Well, but they put people in work camps and they harvest their organs.
So?
And I said, I already like them. You don't have to convince me.
So Asmongold's logic is, Europe is bad because the cops don't do anything. China is good because work camps and organ harvesting.
I don't know if they do or not, but either way, it's pretty edgy.
While watching a Steven Crowder video where he mentions Asmongold, we get to hear his policy on lying.
I hate lying to people, to be honest with you. I love deceiving people, but I hate lying. So I love telling people the truth and making them believe that it's a lie, but I hate actually having to lie. I feel like it's like cheating. Because like there's like the game of deception. People are like, well, you wouldn't eat a dog, would you? I'm like, I'd eat a person. They're like, you shouldn't have said that. I'm like, yeah, probably not. But it's true.
Okie dokie.
Go on a show? Maybe one day I will.
You do not need to go on Steven Crowder's show.
And I don't like actually saying A is B, but I would maybe say, you know, a lowercase a is capital A, right? Because I feel like that's a little bit more exciting for me. It's more entertaining. It's more engaging.
Following another conversation about gay people in China, Asmongold looks at the trailer for the new Black Ops.
I've heard Call of Duty actually sucks dick.
Asmon has his own idea for what Call of Duty should do in its next game.
So I told you guys they should have gone with my 9/11 idea. They should put Bill Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay, we're done listening to that.
I would have the people jumping out of the building.
Thankfully, Asmongold has the right idea about what age of consent means.
18 is barely legal, and 15 is under that by like 3 years. Like, doesn't she see, like, I mean, that's clearly not, that's not even barely illegal. That's just illegal. Most of America is 16? Well, it's not 15. Like, what are you even talking about? You're not even arguing. That could be what you're saying too. Like, I don't even, what? 15-year-olds today are less mature than they were 40 years ago? Well, yeah, of course. You know, if you look at history, people very, very commonly, for like 99% of history, had kids before 18, okay? Hello? This is an established fact. Everybody knows this.
Another common misconception based on education that centers primarily on the ruling class. It was not that common, relative to our modern understanding of sex education and contraception, to have a kid before you were in your 20s. There are obvious health risks involved, but also the fact that whether you were a boy or a girl, odds are you were living on a farm, and farms demand work. But he has the exact wrong idea about why this conversation is happening.
Is that they think that Megyn Kelly is trying to create a future, like a future argument for why it's okay that some political person she was attached to
Trump
was in a relationship with a 15-year-old.
It's Trump.
That's, I think, kind of that's why I think people are mad about it. I don't really see a reason for it. There's no purpose. It's totally counterproductive, and it doesn't help her in any way.
Now we're forced to hear about what Asmongold thinks of the Super Mario Brothers sexuality.
Like, Bowser is super rich, he's really powerful, he's huge, and then Princess Peach always just happens to get kidnapped by Bowser. Are we really believing that? Yeah, she wants that big lizard dick. I'm just saying, guys, yeah, Mario's getting cucked. He is. Mario's getting cucked. That's why I said that you could prove Luigi had a bigger dick than Mario. Princess Peach is always getting kidnapped by Bowser, but you never see Daisy getting kidnapped.
I prefer Hornet being gay to this perversion. Activision released a statement about AI usage in the new Black Ops, and you'll never guess what Asmon's perspective on it is.
If you are one of these dick-sucking retards that likes to complain about AI and, oh, AI's so bad, I hate AI, I'm against AI, AI's so horrible, you know what you're gonna be? You're gonna be a dick-sucking retard for the rest of your life. And
can I just say, the worst fucking thing about fucking AI is how many of you fucking retards get so ass pained about it all the fucking time. Oh my god, I cannot wait until the AI shit is more common so that every single fucking time a new thing is posted, you fucking retards aren't scurrying to those, this is AI, I think this is fucking AI. Like, bro, who the fuck cares? Move the fuck on. Is it good content or not? Get it the fuck out. Oh my god.
Everybody is just going to laugh at you more and more and more.
I'm starting to think that people being gay actually crosses his mind a lot, whether or not he's actually into it.
Yeah, where's all the women, guys? This game must have been from a long time ago. You know what's so fucking insane? Is the fact that this actually happened. You guys ever think about that?
That's crazy.
Like, this shit actually happened.
Asmongold really knows how to sound like a stoner even though he doesn't do drugs.
It's actually so sad how badass video games used to be. And I'm just going to say it.
What?
These were games that were made by guys for guys.
Are you ready for Asmongold to turn his gamer brain up to 11?
This is when gaming used to be good.
Wait,
now
what?
You have these video games that are made to just be slop that's enjoyable to everyone.
Bruh. Not to knock any particular type of game, okay? Not to knock any particular type of game, because I think all game genres are beautiful. I've played games across a ton of different genres, but my brother in Christ, you grinded mounts on World of Warcraft for like 20 fucking years. What the fuck place do you have to talk about real gaming or good games or manly games? You're flying around on multicolored dragons, grinding the 1 out of 50,000 cuck drop to get the next golden lizard thing that you can hop your ass around Azeroth on. Give me a fucking break. Holy shit.
No, no, that's not how it works. This has happened to every single video game, is that women have gotten into video games and they've made them for women. And I don't like this. This makes me fucking mad.
According to the entertainment software...
This is, I'm sorry. Oh, it's such a perfect thing, okay? Listen, don't... There's this concept called the male gaze, but don't waste your time with it, because when you see it, it's everywhere, okay? This concept that everything in the world, especially as a white guy, everything is made for you and has to be for you. If a woman looks a certain way, you criticize her because she's not appeasing to your cock. If a woman is doing a certain thing, it's not okay because it's not appealing to you. Like, for a white man, especially, this is like enough of a criticism. That's it, right? Women, like the fact that women are in video games now, they're making video games for women. What, does everything in the world have to be made just for you? Like, they can probably make games you just don't give a fuck about, right? You know that's okay, right? Oh my god. Maybe there was more to his statement, though. I will say, not to criticize this guy too much, I feel like this guy is cutting this Asmongold video up quite a bit more than he did for prior ones. Like, we were listening to longer versions of this where this feels a little bit more clippy, but...
No, that's not how it works. This has happened to every single video game, is that women have gotten into video games and they've made them for women. And I don't like this. This makes me fucking mad.
According to the Entertainment Software Association, 45% of all gamers in 2010 were female, and in 2013, 42% played MMOs. Since then, the total number has risen to 48%.
I am having my culture appropriated. Like, I don't go to the salon and say, why is nobody listening to Rob Zombie in here? And we don't do that. We don't do that to them. This is what we used to have. Okay? This was the peak. And I think that it's girls getting in there and trying to change shit.
No, Asmon, it's the fact that you're...
I also, like, and I try to be mindful of this when I say, I'm not sure if I'm just looking through nostalgia, tinted glasses. At some point, you have to wonder, like, you know what? I think that the peak of X media was actually when I was between the ages of 14 and 20. And it's like, congratulations. You have the same feeling that every single human being in existence has literally always had. That's correct. The type of content and media that you consume in your late teens, your most formative years, is the type of content you tend to like the most. And when you get older, you're going to not like the new stuff and you're going to gravitate towards the old stuff. Like, do you think it's a coincidence that literally every single fucking prior generation has always said these exact same fucking things?
We're getting older and starting to age out of the primary demographic these games are marketed towards.
No. Absolutely fucking not.
To show how games used to be good, he compares those...
Conduit guy is in YouTube chat? Oh, shit. Most of the cuts are Dead Space. Oh, you're not... Don't watch my channel. I'm playing video games. I'm playing games so you finish all these videos because I'm not going to get 1 week cut by you, motherfucker. Why are you not verified on YouTube? What the fuck?
Warlords of Draenor cinematic from World of Warcraft to Dragonflight.
Yeah. Gaming right now is better than it used to be, and anyone who's not retarded can see this. There is a legitimate criticism to make about gaming, but it is a... Ooh, careful. I don't like criticizing capitalism here, but it's the capitalism critique of... I've drawn this circle a million times, right? A thing happens and it's really cool, and then people are like trying to grow this appeal, and they're experimenting and they're doing weird and crazy things, but eventually once the quote-unquote formula is found, then that just gets iterated on a billion times, and that kind of becomes the industry, unless you get breakouts or like really established people who can afford to take risks or do kind of like crazy things. But that's like... That's like par for the course for everything. But that, it's just a result of like market forces. Like that's where all the money investment goes because that's where the highest return shit goes because that's where the highest monetary return is. For better or for worse.
Absolutely fucking not.
To show how games used to be good, he compares the Warlords of Draenor cinematic from World of Warcraft to Dragonflight.
Yeah. Because this shit used to be so badass, and now it's cringe.
The premise Asmon is working from isn't men dominating the industry, it's nostalgia.
It's a bunch of a Karen game design. That's all it is. Literally Karen game design.
What does Karen mean here except problem you are blaming on imagined women?
And so guys should have a complete monopoly on making games?
Got him!
Yes. And if girls want to make games, they should make their own games. You have Stardew Valley. You have Animal Crossing, you have Pokemon. And I'm not saying always...
I'm sorry. Stardew Valley and Pokemon are girl games? Wait, what?
There's plenty of women who write great stories. But the difference is that whenever you're writing something like World of Warcraft, this is a story about big, hairy, muscular men killing each other and dying for honor, glory, tradition.
Spoilers about the ending of Warlords of Draenor if you care about that. But the main character in the cinematic he watched earlier dies refusing to take any responsibility for his own...
This, not to... I'm cucking out super hard with the left statements right now, but like...
About the ending of Warlords...
This is also like such a quote-unquote toxically masculine statement, right? That like, this is for men and men love these types of games. Like, you know what else is a really popular game that every fucking man liked? Was The Last of Us. And that was very much not about huge burly men just murdering everybody. It was like a fathered stepdaughter-ish like adventure zombie survival game like that. I don't know why I'm even cracking this. Minecraft was for women.
Draenor if you care about that. But the main character in the cinematic he watched earlier dies refusing to take any responsibility for his own actions, revealing himself ultimately to be incredibly weak and petulant.
You made me what I am.
Don't let yourself get tone policed by these annoying fucking Karens. This is a masculine thing.
Watch him counter someone's transphobia with what I think qualifies as its own transphobia, but in a way that's still inclusive.
Remember valid criticisms of child touching mentally ill people isn't hate? I mean, I don't think that every person that is a transsexual is a child toucher. I mean, like, that's insane. Why would you even say that? I don't really think that you can change your gender, like, not entirely. Like, obviously, if somebody wants to go through the requisite procedures and everything, I'll use their preferred pronouns because I don't want to create a conflict with somebody.
Honestly, I'm fine with this. Obviously, I have a different understanding of sex and gender, but if we're talking about the broader public, tolerance should be the acceptable baseline. It even gets covered in a World of Warcraft cinematic.
I have learned patience, tolerance.
But you can obviously dress different ways and get surgery and then, act and behave and be seen as a woman in society. I think that's true.
Here's a good example of why I find Asmongold interesting. He just clearly laid out gender presentation as a social standard of expectations with regards to femininity and masculinity. But even with that understanding, he falls back on gender as a binary because biological delineations between men and women, even though trans people aren't even trying to take that away. In the simplest terms, without trying to step on people's personal definitions or present as an expert myself, it's just people who want to exist at certain ends of the spectrum between masculinity and femininity and be recognized as such.
So really, I don't know why there's such a weird distinction for people to have, right? And there's no point to being mean, I agree. Yeah, exactly. The reason why people get hyper obsessed with trans stuff is because it's always being put in their face.
Remember what I said about the passive social media feeds? I never see trans shit ever. The only people I ever hear talking, even as fucked as my X feed is, the only people I ever hear talk about trans shit are conservatives. Where the fuck are all of these people pushing trans shit? What? It's always conservatives talking about it. Holy shit.
And if I had to guess, I would say the reason this is an issue that comes up a lot for Asmon is that his regular news presents it to him as being one.
So they see a new show comes out and there's a trans character. Trans people are like 0.6% of the population.
Are there even famous liberal trans? Is there a famous liberal trans protagonist? Because I feel like all of the famous left-leaning, all of the famous, like the famous trans people are just antagonists for conservatives. So like people might look at the swimmer person, but she's only a popular person because the fucking Riley Gaines girl, that's like her primary fucking antagonist in her life. Like that's the only reason why people even fucking know about this person as much as they do. Jesus. I love conservatives. Find me a spider.
But if you look at media representation, you'd think that they're like 10 or 20%.
According to GLAAD, in 2023, there were 33 trans characters in total across all TV shows between cable and streaming. Trans people aren't taking up a huge chunk of space. They're just taking up a space.
It keeps getting forced on them.
If the compromise you have to make to enjoy a product made for a broad audience is that someone has a lifestyle you don't necessarily understand or agree with, but isn't directly harming anyone, that's a you problem to get over. Now it's Irrelevant's turn to have his reaction to Lonerbox's reaction and Hassan's reactions reacted to by Asmongold.
The thing that everybody accused him of doing with Israel, which is like some paid propaganda, social credit.
Every Jew is being paid by Israel to promote Israel. I learned this on Instagram Reels.
While I don't think Asmon is being serious, I have concerns if his Instagram algorithm is feeding him anti-Semitic posts.
There's some other things that I learned on Instagram Reels too, but I don't think the chat's ready for those yet. I saw an AI translated speech of obviously Adolf Hitler on Instagram Reels, and it had 200,000 likes. And I was thinking to myself, that's a lot.
Why is that your Instagram recommendations?
I always joke about this, about how wars get announced on my days off. I took a day off yesterday and a war got announced. How does this keep happening?
Knowing that, let's see what Asmongold's reactions to the bombings in Venezuela are.
Now, do I totally agree with the regime change? I don't know really if I do or not. I mean, I don't have a strong opinion on it one way or another, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not totally against it, though. Only the people can hold their government accountable, right? You know, we can't
How does he see me through the
grass?
grass?
It's going to get better, right? If their economy is built off of basically sending illegal drugs to our country, then it is our problem.
The Venezuelan economy is built on oil. Once again, propaganda takes its toll as Asmon wonders why the military has such a hard time with forces that are seemingly insignificant in comparison.
I always wonder, like, how much of that is like a forced problem and how much of it is that they just let it happen. Because I've always assumed it's like, if we have satellites that can read a license plate, why can't we figure out what these guys are doing?
Most of the technology developed for the military is about putting as much distance as possible between yourself and a target while still being able to connect with it. Guerrilla warfare is about closing that distance.
And like, my opinion is that, like, with the Vietnam War and with the Iraq War, is that we were not there to win.
Stop.
We were there to continue fueling the military-industrial complex. I think if we had tried to actually accomplish any one specific goal there, it would have happened extremely fast.
This would require a much longer explanation than I'm equipped to provide here. But basically, the problems our military faces in extended conflicts are not limited to what we can or can't
He didn't
blow
even
up.
die.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if he starts a war over there, I think that most Americans probably won't really care that much as long as soldiers aren't being sent over there.
If Trump unilaterally and unconstitutionally decides to throw the U.S. military at a country, regardless of whether any soldiers are in immediate danger, people are going to care.
Not in the Western Hemisphere, not in our backyard, because that destabilizes trade, it destabilizes economies. It's the security of the United States at stake here.
Thankfully, that's the last political story he covers before he gets to the new video game where wins meet. You know, I've never actually seen Asmongold play a video game. I wonder what it's like.
Oh boy.
Not eating food is really OP in terms of losing weight.
Listen, I'm not an expert, but I think Asmongold has an eating disorder.
You're just like those girls? No, I'm not. You just don't eat food. That's easy. It's easy. You just stop eating food. I don't make a big deal out of it. You just do it. There's a lot of foods low in calories. Most people just want the sugar. I love sugar. I started eating way more sugar, and everything in my life improved.
And that would be a sign of depression.
Like, in 100 years, there might not be anybody with diabetes anymore. Yeah, it's probably just going to go away. Story mode, this is for girls, I guess. This is for, I guess, normal people.
Were you even listening?
Shut up, bitch! This bitch is wild. Damn, bitch. This bitch is mad. You stupid fat bitch.
Please stop calling the child a bitch.
This bitch tries to tell me what to do.
Strangers in town lately.
Well, I tried.
You guys notice there aren't any fat people in this game? Cocksucker.
King.
So this next topic will be regarding the Christchurch shooting.
I'm gonna give an unhinged take. You know what the funny thing is I feel like just by virtue of, well, actually no, I couldn't say that because I haven't seen him. I was gonna say by virtue of like being a gamer, and if you're in guilds and you've got girls and shit in guilds, you tend to have more interactions. So you're not quite as sexist. So I wonder how much of Asmongold's sexism is like performative. Like, I have to hate the women's, but like interpersonally, maybe he wouldn't necessarily do it. I feel like for some reason he has the demeanor of somebody who wouldn't be like interpersonally sexist. Whereas I feel like Hassan is like the exact opposite. Like, he tries to be outwardly like sometimes progressive depending upon his thing or whatever. But like Hassan is very clearly still like hardcore in his like frat era mentally in terms of how he views women. It's just interesting flip between the two.
Aftermath.
Do you feel like this person was influenced by these people on YouTube?
If you did read this guy's manifesto, this guy was like an extreme like alt-right figure. He wanted to rely on government to literally kick out all Muslims from New Zealand. So he felt that he needed to go to a place and target and kill the most non-Muslims possible, and he went to a mosque and did it. I do think that like hateful rhetoric can lead to hateful acts of violence. I mean, that chain is to establish that is very complicated. You know, people maybe listen to a few jokes in one place, start posting a poll in another place, start getting drafted into more extremist groups, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There are a lot of people that are really good gateways for this. I mean, who's this guy?
Written out so many different types of studies for how you can start watching a Joe Rogan video and then go to Jordan Peterson and then wind up with more extremist figures like Nick Fuentes or maybe Lauren Southern or something like that, and then eventually go down that extremist road.
I think at the beginning of your statement, you did give a little bit of credence to Nick and also Sargon's point that maybe he didn't feel like he was able to discuss these issues without being elated or hated for it.
Oh yeah, sure, but that doesn't mean that I think that those views are legitimate or need to be platformed. I think that's a bad dichotomy, right? If somebody says like, I want to kill all black people, well, I'm going to fire you if you say that on Twitter, and then they go out and actually kill black people because they got banned from Twitter. You wouldn't say, well, hold on, like, should we be suppressing this man's views? He felt like he had no way to express them, and now he actually went, well, no. I mean, the idea is we need to not have people have these friendly society, right? So views like Fuentes pushes, for instance, where he seems to be anti-immigrant or anti-person of color or whatever, moving into certain countries where he feels like it violates their Western culture or whatever, however he does it.
How we doing, boys? What's going on? Ready to go again, man.
Hold on. Where did that shot come from? That was not very friendly. I can't. Is he? I swear to fucking God, if that fucking spider comes and fucks me. Sorry, hold on. I don't get to rate the loot. Rate. Chase him? All I have is my fucking Pharaoh, bro. I'm not outfitted for PvP. This guy. This motherfucker. He's not even gonna go loot it? He's just shooting me for no reason? To grief me? Whoa. Can I make bandages? Oh, I don't have field crafting. Oh.
Hey!
I hear somebody back there. This is why I don't like night raids, okay? Nobody's friendly up here, okay?
Hey there!
This guy's about to blast me the fuck away. Because he didn't talk. If you kill, you can loot all the things. No. I can't kill him. I have a pharaoh. That's it. I need to leave. I just have to extract now. And I'm out of fucking bandages.
Another fucking day.
All right, let's hear what today's discussion will be.
The big question of the day: did Donald Trump suck Bill Clinton's dick? Yeah, stop 9 wars and you suck one dick. You're not a peacemaker. You're a dick sucker. And wouldn't that be crazy for like all the people that hate Donald Trump if he turns out to be the first LGBT president?
Not really. Like, you're basically saying that Trump being proven to have committed sexual acts in connection with Epstein means you get to own the libs. And I don't think that's the priority.
The French president is the same, apparently?
It is.
Yeah, I heard about that with his husband as well. Candace Owens and a bunch of other people think that she's a man. Well, we don't really know this, right? It's not something I would bet on. Isn't she also a pedo? Yeah, of course. But it was in Europe, and so, like, you know, like, they do things differently over there.
I think that Macron's relationship is weird, to put it mildly. But yesterday, you called Trump a piece of shit for calling out Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew's...
True. Sorry, hold on.
Hello, Raider.
Hello, Raider. Oh, see, that guy spoke. Oh, there's a guy back here. Oh, there's a guy back there. Oh, there's a guy. Oh my god, my people. We're safe. We're all safe here. We're all one family.
Relationship with Epstein without evidence. So I'd still call this a double standard even before you get to the idea that any conspiracy theory touted by Candace Owens is even remotely plausible.
In 9 wars, you suck one dick. You're not a peacemaker, you're a dick sucker. That's right.
Jack Doherty got arrested. If you don't know who that is, he had one viral moment last year when he crashed his McLaren on stream because he decided to go 90 miles an hour in the rain.
What?
What? You can't drive fast anymore? You can't drive in America in the rain anymore?
I want to show you about a conversation Asmon had with his dad.
And I'm like, are you cooked? And he's like, what do you mean? Like, am I dead? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I don't know. Come over, let's find out.
This is what I'm talking about when I say his casual yapping is endearing, and it's something I haven't gotten from any of the other people I've watched. Maybe it's just my experience, but when you're dealing with a sick family, it's not just a constant deluge of sadness. There are the funny, awkward bits in the middle where you can eke out a laugh at the absurdity of the process. I think this is a good memory for Asmon to hold on to. Hassan is back in China again.
That kid is back on the escalator again.
Someone asks Hassan about the gay dating app's China ban, which he incredulously calls a Twitter rumor.
I think you just saw that on Twitter. Meanwhile, Twitter. It's all Twitter. Listen, just because you went to China doesn't mean you have to justify everything that China's ever done. You don't have to run PR for them. Feminism is still a dirty word in China. Guys, I already wanted to go. You don't have to keep convincing me.
You can probably tell from day one, but it's pretty clear this isn't just edgy humor. Asmon just doesn't like women. And if you reject that notion, let's finish up here and you'll see. Before he moves on from the subject, Asmon watches a clip of Destiny's reaction to Hassan's trip.
That's me! He's like Jackson Hinkle territory to me, like worse than Fuentes right now. I cannot believe that you would do a propaganda trip to China and that you would suck off Mao. I think that...
Klein worse than Fuentes is so retarded and biased. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't want to get into it. I mean, I can see why he says that. I can see why people would disagree, right?
Boy, I sure wonder if the implications of his non-comment won't reveal themselves later. This is Hassan's reaction to being gifted a little red book.
Really?
Is that a Bible?
The fact that Hassan's entourage would think the Chinese government would offer him a Bible is just so telling about their understanding of the country.
The red book? I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what it's about. I have no idea. Can you imagine if I did that? Like, let's say somebody gifted me a book of like fucking The Art of the Deal or like Mein Kampf and I did that. Oh my God. Like that would just be, people would be talking about that on the, like around the whole world. Can you imagine that? Oh!
I'm pretty sure Asmon doesn't intend to make any implications here, but he's making implications here.
Because of the implication.
Now Asmon reacts to the trailer for a new Pokemon game.
Wow.
Wait, I don't think I got that 100%. Offer him a Bible? Is a video creator claiming that that Hassan's Chinese little propaganda official didn't offer him like the little red book or whatever, or did he mean?
It's ditto. This is made for people that have an IQ of like 65. And I am so excited to see every dumb e-girl probably playing this game on release. Oh, wow, it's a Squirtle. Oh, wow. Oh, God.
Remember what he...
Oh, wow. 65. And I am so excited to see every dumb e-girl probably playing this game on release. Oh, wow, it's a Squirtle. Oh, wow. Oh, God.
Remember what he said yesterday?
Like...
Yeah, oh yeah, because yesterday... Yeah, oh shit, yeah, because I was gonna say, I thought Pokemon was an e-girl game, but now it's not. I don't even know. It's hard to keep track sometimes.
I don't go to the salon, and we don't do that. We don't do that to them. You have Pokemon.
He watches the trailer for the new Call of Duty.
What a stupid game. This is tough. You can only choose wisely. Yeah, it's bread. Yeah, if it was regular bread, then it'd be a tougher decision. But yeah, with garlic bread, I mean, come on.
And then he finds out that a games journalist said Expedition 33 isn't an indie game, and so it shouldn't be nominated for an indie award. Asmon proceeds to loop.
It's not a loop. It's a spiral.
Asmon proceeds to spiral.
I wonder how much a game needs to be. What does indie game mean? What does that actually mean? There are times where, I feel like we had this conversation a long time ago, where like a new studio pops up and they make a game and it's like an indie game, but like they have millions in funding and like all of the devs and creators there all came from like AAA studios or whatever, and it's like, like how much did Radiant is saying, and we never trust Radiant, but he said 60 million make. Like if E33 really cost $60 million, is that true? There's no way that's true. Wait, hold on. How much money did Expedition 33 cost to make? Developer Sandval revealed less than $10 million. Okay. That's still fairly high. I wonder what the cutoff is there. It used to mean no publisher? Yeah, but who cares, right? Everything's released digitally these days.
Dumb retard idiot said this. Where's the dumb retard idiot that said this? You idiot. You fucking moron.
Which then carries over into anger at the Indie Game Award in general for being woke.
Uh-oh. Now you've done it. Now
the problem is not in their girth, but it is in their taste. Two overweight soy millennial men to go and gas up the Indie Game Awards, and you've got a bunch of nominations here of games that nobody even played. This is bad. I am so fucking upset, and these retards are sitting here making these award shows for other retards, and it's making me mad.
So just to make sure I understand, these are people you don't like promoting games you don't want to play to an audience you aren't a part of, and for some reason this is deeply offensive.
This is pathetic.
I mean, I agree, but not for the reason you intended.
Blue hair games? Yeah, all woke shit, bro. All annoying, cringe, like millennial slop woke trash. Oh, that's my lizard. Oh, he's on the wall. I tried to catch him the other day. I couldn't get him. He's fast.
And now we're looking at libs of TikTok.
Asmon has the same problems mine gains, surrounds himself with a very specific type of woman, and then gets mad they're not rocket scientists. It's not the e-girls or OnlyFans girls' fault. They're being used as representatives of womanhood when the average woman is a nurse or teacher who's offline. Sure, this is what I said before about like how, well, one, it's the meme of the conservatives building the cardboard people and then crying about them. But then two, it's this weird world where like people are just, somebody is showing you somebody to be upset about. And it's like, well, who is the representative of the left? It's whoever the conservatives tell you. I don't know if the left does the same thing. I'm trying to think if this happens on the left. Because like when I think of like who the enemies are on the right, it's like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Stephen Miller, Nancy Mace. It's like they're major political operatives, or Steve Bannon. They're major media figures. But then when the right goes to pick out their enemies, it's just like these random fucking people who are like 5-follower Twitter accounts or whatever. Yeah, I have this debate every time I go on fucking Piers Morgan. I was like, why the fuck do you care about this person?
Why are we looking at libs of TikTok?
Literally all Karens. All middle-aged white women.
But don't worry, it's not over yet.
Women are fed up. What is this, for lesbians? Articles like this are written by angry fat women in their 30s. So they can hopefully, ruin the marriage prospects. And
no, they're written to get rage clicks.
It's all a massive psyop. None of it is actually real. Okay, yeah, let's look up who wrote it. Let's see if it's a fat middle-aged woman. Let's find out.
More woke games media who don't like AI.
It's because,
like, why even read this then? If that's who it's written by, and that's who it's written for. I wish that like other people, black people or women or somebody else just needs to do a thing where they just like go through the news and they just do it like this all day, right? Like me and Dan or me and Mr. Mooten can go through like the daily UFC boxing update. I don't know what the fuck, and watch like not Stephen Miller. Fuck, that's the guy whose name's on the black guy. Fuck. We just watch a shit all day. It's like, why is he talking about this? Who cares? Or like, nobody gives a fuck about this fighter. Nobody cares about this sport. Nobody gives a fuck about this. And just like say like over and over and over again. Oh, Stephen A. Smith, that's it. Yeah, and it's like, what? Because I'm pretty sure people just say, well, why are you watching this? Why are you listening to this? You don't give a fuck about any of this shit. Then why do you keep watching? Because I don't know. Because it makes me mad. Like what?
Because all of these studios and all of these people are totally bought and paid for, and they are pushing an agenda. I cannot wait for the day that I get to announce that this company is being shut down and they're having layoffs.
Like, why are you so ass mad about this? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Who cares? Just don't fucking watch it.
These like weird freaks get into your company, they're like a parasite or an infection, and you can't just remove every infected cell. You have to sever the limb.
Everyone knows once you start using language like parasite to describe someone, your ideology is a winner.
You can't rebuild Ubisoft. The only people who can do it is China, and the Middle East can also do it. It's because there isn't a cultural cost.
What the fuck? Okay.
For them simply firing all of the woke people. Same with Japan. Like, Japan just got rid of all of Square Enix English team. It's because they're a bunch of woke, weird losers.
Hilariously,
is that
the
why?
director for Final Fantasy 16 said the most unwoke thing possible outside of an actual slur about the game, and it still didn't sell well. Asmon has a message for people who don't like hearing the R word from their streamers.
It doesn't matter how many fat, annoying, stupid, middle-aged women.
Okay, I think you get the point now. Mexico had protests against the government for supposed connections to drug cartels in their country. It's actually amazing how horseshoe theory is proven in real time.
It's One Piece, it's just like One Piece. Are they taking back their country? I think it's because they think that she's in cahoots with the cartels. I don't know if she is or not. I don't know. Like, I think that to some degree you probably have to be cordial with them, but I don't really know that. I've never been to Mexico, so like, how am I really supposed to know? I mean, honestly, how can you run Mexico without working with them? I probably threaten their life and family. Well, I mean, El Salvador, I mean, the guy over there did it, and like, as far as I bet, they probably tried to threaten him too.
El Salvador suspended basic rights and arrested thousands of people, overcrowding their prisons even with the opening of CCOT. It's also reported that there are hundreds of political prisoners. Since 2022, the state has arrested over 3,300
Where does the spider live here?
Or connection to gangs. Interviews revealed that the police were given arrest quotas, meaning that this was likely done to pump up their numbers. They've also been held in detention and prisons with adults, exposing them to potential abuse. Which, speaking of, torture and abuse are rampant. And now with the gangs gone, the ones committing crimes are now the police and the military.
I'm the president of Mexico seeking asylum in America. I can't believe he did this. They're January 6ing. I'm proud of them. They're January 6ing. Look at them go. Bro, it's like Helm's Deep. They're bringing in the ladders.
Just when I thought the disparity between his initial reaction to January 6th and this couldn't get any more stark.
Maybe this is like an egomaniac thing for me to say, but I do actually feel like I have some degree of obligation to, whenever something crazy like this is happening in the world, that I do actually like talking about it, because I feel like every mainstream media publication doesn't give a fuck and doesn't care at all.
Your obligation isn't to just talk about something that happens without any proper understanding of what's happening. Your obligation is to accurately inform people if this is what you want to spend time on.
Straight up punched him in the dick.
But I guess that might be too much to ask.
Oh my god! They beat him with bolt cutters? Oh, they are! They're beating him to death! To be fair, they're just pushing him around right now.
Jesus
but whenever
Christ.
I see a crash out happening in a country like Mexico, that's
He's crashing out, bro.
An American crash out.
He just killed the dude.
American crash outs are
crazy
people
crash
who are
out.
angry because the election didn't go their way. In these other countries, people are angry because the election didn't go.
I think he's talking about no kings as opposed to, January 6th. But either way, he's incorrect because Claudia Sheinbaum won with stupidly large margins, beating her closest opponents by nearly 2 times the votes in an election that no one has called illegitimate. So the people he's watching are in fact rioting because the election didn't go their way.
Like, if you don't have a way to democratically be able to voice your frustrations and vent your frustrations, then the only option is violence. But sometimes you just simply lose the democratic vote. To be fair, our democracy probably plays a role in their lack of democracy. I think that you're right, and I think that Americans do need to spend less time intervening in other countries' affairs.
It's horseshoes all the way down.
This is what January 6th was meant to be. Yeah, I do think this is funny whenever you look at this and you compare it to January 6th, you know?
True.
It's like, oh, wow. Yeah, January 6th was so horrible. Yeah, sure, guys. Most reasonable people look at this and view it as a disgrace. Most Mexicans ask Trump for military help.
They do not. A little less than half would support U.S. military assistance specifically if it came with government approval.
I don't think we really should intervene militarily with Mexico, but I do think that there's a degree of American best interest, some degree of aid or something like that we could give them. It'll be better for us too. Because like there are 2 ways that you can stop people from coming to your country, right? One other way to stop them from coming over is to make it so they don't want to. He's like, if they don't even want to, problem solved.
You have just made the argument for USAID.
Bro, if they catch her, they're gonna kill
Jesus.
her. The cartel members, I mean, am I really gonna feel bad for that? The cartel members kill people all the time. They think that she's in cahoots with the cartels. I don't know if she is or not. I don't know. Like, proof that she's a cartel asset though? Proof? No. Evidence? Yes. I don't know. Like, but there's no actual proof.
He doesn't know that Claudia Sheinbaum is corrupt. He doesn't know.
Hold on. Is this a real distinction? Because I've heard a few people make this distinction. Where, oh, that's not proof. That's just evidence. Aren't these words generally used like interchangeably? Like, how much proof do you have for this claim? Like, nobody says like, do you have the proof? Like, what are we doing math here? Like, I'm pretty sure people say, oh, show me how much proof you have. Show me how much evidence you have. Like, does this prove a thing? It maybe is like it's been proven or proved, but these distinctions are, I feel like, so stupid. Fuck, hold on. Try not to freeze.
Who organized this protest? He doesn't know what the actual goals of the protest are, but it's good because it's in the direction of what he needs to validate supporting Trump's policies. Asmon thinks the protest isn't being covered by American media because it would convey that Mexicans aren't able to assimilate to American culture, and Scheinbaum isn't popular despite opposing Trump.
In order to push the narrative that there is like a parity between American culture and Mexican culture in a way that people from Mexico are going to come to America and seamlessly integrate with the culture.
Has called it a movement financed by right-wing politicians and business.
You're jumping the shark. You're jumping the shark. It's so obvious that's not true.
Asmongold might dismiss that claim out of hand, but let's actually dig into it. Apologies for any mispronunciations of any names. Claudia Scheinbaum said that the protests against her at that moment were a coordinated right-wing effort stoked by online botting, billionaires, and members of the opposing party in an effort to undermine her legitimacy with the populace. So, were there billionaires? Yes, there were. Ricardo Salinas Pliego, a Mexican billionaire who owes the government $4 billion, was one of the initial instigators of the protest on social media, sharing a message from a Mexican influencer, Carlos Bello, who had not previously delved into politics, denouncing the administration. Those calls were...
Whoa! Meme break. Hold on. What? You're in here.
Yo.
Okay, what do you want?
Okay. So, I myself am a young male. And
wait. Sorry, try that again. Your mic was so fucked. Wait. Try that again. Sorry, I don't know if it was just catching up or it was lagging, but I think it's okay now. Go for it.
Okay, I might have bad, so I could try again another time when I'm at my setup. I have a better mic there anyway.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe try that and then hit me up and chat again.
Cool.
Yeah, because it's kind of fucked right now, okay?
Okay, it'll have to be another time though.
That's okay.
I'm out and about right now.
Okay, be careful.
Okay.
Fuck. Oh, rip.
Amplified until a protest was announced and simultaneously promoted by 179 TikTok accounts and 359 Facebook groups. And on November 1st, after the murder of Mayor Carlos Manzo, every group shifted from a general demand for change to supporting his memory. Were there members of the opposing party? Yes, there were. Vicente Fox, former president of Mexico, the guy who during Trump's first term said they weren't going to build the fucking wall, supported the protests. Here he is wearing a one-piece shirt. Very Gen Z. Were there bots? Yes, there were. Javier Negre, the founder of La Derecha Diario, and Agustin Antonetti are two right-wing digital strategists with connections to Salinas, and have operated in South American politics previously, and have used bots and artificial promotion of hashtags on Twitter like Narco Presidente in the Mexican election. They both participated in the creation of this movement. And the final piece of evidence for this is AstroTurf, is that the protest following this one only garnered 200 people. There is not broad dissatisfaction with Scheinbaum in Mexico.
Right, it's all bots and right-wing extremism. But that must be it, guys. Yeah, for sure, guys. 100%, that's what it is. She still says she has 80% approval rating? Really? I see that.
She has 70% approval. A crowd of people is not indicative of nationwide popularity.
Do you believe that ICE human rights violations are committed with total impunity? I disagree with the idea of human rights to begin with. People don't have innate rights. Rights are invented. There's no difference between a right and a way that you should treat somebody. So you've started off the conversation on a lie.
Okay, cool. What do you think about ICE's violation of people's invented rights?
A human rights violation. According to who? Somebody who disagrees with you? Oh, okay. Well, let's just listen to them tell you why you're wrong. No, I don't think so.
Well, there are the people who died, the people violently detained without cause, the people deported against court orders and their legal status, the people arrested despite following the rules they were given to avoid deportation, the people who died, and the people who were violently detained without cause.
So he's saying this about Donald Trump? What the fuck?
More Epstein cope that these emails don't literally say, yes, we were best friends doing sex crimes together.
I feel like it's such an abstract thing to say, right? Because if you're saying that he brought up Trump after the relationship had ended, does that mean that he's talking about
one of those missed.
He's talking about Trump in general? I think that's a misleading statement. You know what? This actually makes me think that they were actually pretty good friends. Because there's no way you're going to be emailing somebody years after the fact, still malding out over it, unless you guys used to be boys. Yes, he was patient zero for TDS, exactly. Yeah, but like obviously he didn't. Like Epstein clearly doesn't think that about Trump, because if he did, he wouldn't have been friends with him for all those years.
Yes, the people who might have one specific thing in common that they can't share with anybody else wouldn't override their other feelings about each other that they might find distasteful.
He's close to no one. Well, if he's close to no one, then I guess then you weren't close to him, right? If you're saying this. I would not look at Jeffrey Epstein as a reliable narrator. It's worth taking into account, it's worth reading and listening to, but I wouldn't just believe it.
In the span of one day, we've gone from,
oh, it could make somebody look bad? Too bad. You shouldn't have gone to an island with a pedophile.
To, well, being in the files doesn't mean you're technically a pedophile.
Well, Trump's name being in the files doesn't mean he did anything wrong. Like, Epstein is crashing out about Trump and they're not even friends anymore. So are you counting all the times that he's complaining about Donald Trump in his emails? It's so dishonest. Just release the files, we'll figure out who the weirdos are, and arrest them.
And also he has an opinion about the concerns about Trump's health, given that he got an MRI that he won't explain the purpose of.
Maybe there's something wrong with Trump. Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe he has cancer. Maybe there's some other big issue. Maybe it wasn't an MRI. They needed to do that because he's the president and they do an extra level of testing for somebody who's the president. I don't know. It could be 50 different reasons.
Okay, but the issue is we still don't know, and he won't tell us.
I think it's important for people to know whether the president is physically capable of doing the job.
I'm gonna warn you now, if this video is spiking your blood pressure, 1, I'm sorry, and 2, it's gonna get worse. Because Asmongold is about to react to Kyle Kalinski's video calling him the dumbest person of 2020. 2025.
Look, you do a massive disservice. You got this giant audience of people who follow you, and if you're out there, the disservice is disagreeing.
Zelensky's arguments kind of suck because he's basically blowing hot air for his own audience rather than trying to say anything substantial. But Asmongold's response is something. He starts off with a whopper on Trump's cuts to the NIH, which include cuts to pediatric cancer care.
Has it ever occurred to you that maybe the research was done in a way that was bad? Every time that people say something like this, the implication is that, oh, they're curing cancer or something like that. This is bullshit. Yeah, and also on top of that, yeah, just because
they haven't even cured all cancer yet.
It's a good allocation of government money.
Asmon will not look up to see whether this is even remotely true. Federal budget cuts, amongst other things, include $4 million from the Pediatric Brain Tumor Consortium, an organization that does research on rare cancers affecting thousands of children every year. You might think on principle that the government shouldn't fund bad science, but they aren't checking on the validity of the research because the mechanisms aren't in place to do an audit like that, let alone that quickly. And if you need evidence, over the course of this year, the government has fired thousands of people and then had to hire them back because they didn't realize they were necessary. This is not being done with care or concern for the consequences.
But I do think they're probably overshooting and probably firing too many people too quickly. But I think that the inevitability of this is not to be denied. But it's for cancer kids. Okay, great emotional argument. Because the idea of, oh my God, he's cutting research for cancer kids. Oh no! That sounds bad.
What he will
I mean, it kind of is bad too, though, no?
Actually to blame for flash flood deaths in Texas.
According to 3 former staffing shortages, national services are nothing new. So this has already been happening. It was already happening, and I
am dubious that cutting staff at the Weather Service as we encounter more and more extreme weather events will have a positive overall impact on our ability to navigate them in the future, even if you accept that it wasn't a problem this time.
This is the thing, right? You give a specific example, and it falls apart.
Now what about Trump cutting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's budget in half?
Good. They weren't doing their job.
Hold on, wait. There's too much noise. 1 second. Jesus. I am killing a big robot, so they have to be friendly. That's the rule, right? Can you stop? You need to shoot the legs for— Bro, the legs are already fucked. Look at this motherfuckers. No! He's gonna steal your kill? Ah! Just explode. No! Ah!
Hello there.
No! Oh, not me. Jesus. Oh, hi. That's why you kept shooting at me. Get out of here. Okay. No! Okay, hold on. Oh? Hello? What am I supposed to shoot at now? Ah! If you shoot the legs off, it deals lots of damage to it. Oh, so I have to blow the leg up? Not just the armor? Oh, I got 16 bullets left, so... No! I have like 6 bullets left. Yep, just healing. Bro. Is he gonna shoot? What's he doing? Do those things ever do like friendly fire? Like will he ever blow his own scouters up? Can you fuck off? No shot. My shield is about to die. None of these can be grenades or whatever. Fireball thing. Can this be a grenade? No! I'm dead. And missed! And it died. Anybody got a defib? Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, bloop. I don't know if... Oh. It's not active. Good. No one will find my body. Shrimple ass.
Stop.
The CFPB was created after the 2008 financial crisis and has a budget today of a little under $1 billion.
They obviously had no fucking idea what they were doing.
But prior to the cuts, they had clawed $21 billion back for consumers and imposed $5 billion in fines. Again, this is an institution that has a higher rate of return for the people it helps than the taxation it costs to operate.
The scams have been through the fucking roof. But there's a bureau of people that are supposed to stop scams. And you want to keep them on payroll? They sucked.
Firing government workers who are veterans?
Oh no, you can't fire veterans anymore.
Trump is firing 80,000 people at the Department of Veterans Affairs. There is no way to fully predict the impact of so many people losing their jobs in such a short amount of time, or the reverberations it will have across...
How many of those snap grenades would I need to just kill it, assuming I hit every one?
You accept that it wasn't a problem. Bureau's budget in half.
Good. They weren't doing their job.
The CFPB was created after the 2008 financial crisis and has a budget today of a little under $1 billion.
They obviously had no fucking idea what they were doing.
But prior to the cuts, they had clawed $21 billion back for consumers and imposed $5 billion in fines. Again, this is an institution that has a higher rate of return for the people it helps than the taxation it costs to operate.
The scams have been through the fucking roof. But there's a bureau of people that are supposed to stop scams. And you want to keep them on payroll? They sucked.
Firing government workers who are veterans?
Oh no, you can't fire veterans anymore.
Trump is firing 80,000 people at the Department of Veterans Affairs. There is no way to fully predict the impact of so many people losing their jobs in such a short amount of time, or the reverberations it will have across the broader economy. But this will mean that care for veterans will get worse.
Another emotional appeal.
Firing 250,000 government workers overall.
Good. It should have been more.
Apparently, Asmon isn't worried about the economic impact of sudden large-scale job loss. I'm scared to hear what he thinks about gutting USAID.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
That's right. It's America's responsibility to pay for people that have HIV and AIDS in Africa.
Unironically, yes.
Oh yeah.
The total cost of USAID fluctuates between $40 and $60 billion, or around about $105 per person in the United States, and less than 1% of the total federal budget. Since 1990, USAID has helped cut mortality for children under 5.5, and 90 countries had their under 5 mortality drop by 2/3. PEPFAR, which provides AIDS medication, has saved 25 million people, and currently helps 20 million people, including 500,000 children.
People have been dying in droves.
Is he specifying in America or not? No, he's not. It's because it's not happening in America.
Who cares? The only lives that matter are American lives. King.
Don't believe the numbers that say hundreds of thousands of people will inevitably die as a result of dismantled infrastructure to provide aid. or that the people who can migrate will inevitably put even more pressure on American immigration services that will be much more expensive, which Asmon understands based on his analysis of Mexico. What about the fact that USAID support confined disease outbreaks to parts of the world that meant they had a much harder time finding their way to the US?
Who
For example,
cares?
the West
Diseases
Africa
aren't
Ebola
real.
outbreak in 2014. USAID led the response, and he dismantled USAID while another outbreak is ongoing.
It's because you have people here that are dying from lack of medical care. You have people here that don't have housing. Where is the priority list that a veteran ever gets outranked by a person in Africa? Oh no, you can't fire veterans anymore. Yeah, I agree. Good call. W. And also all of these examples here that he's given are policy decisions and not actual violence. I was discussing things like Charlie Kirk and Jay Jones in the clip. And so he's misinterpreted what I've said. And he's even making an argument that doesn't even make sense in the context of what I said. Wow.
All of these things make people more susceptible to violence and overall suffering. And regardless of if it's directly violent, his casual willingness to vocally endorse choices that have and will lead to more people needlessly dying is more monstrous than anything Jay Jones has texted. But we're not done yet. Asmon's perspective on the government killing people they've labeled as terrorists has changed in the last 5 years.
Let me get this straight. So the US government can read a license plate with a satellite from outer space, but you think that a Twitter post that said that the people were innocent is more accurate than that?
People in glass houses shouldn't throw tweets.
And they're trying to think that it's new.
But to his main point, we have not gotten any evidence that these people are absolutely guilty of crimes, that the crimes would require this response, or that the repercussions of carrying out these responses would be worth it versus other means. He's just taking Trump at his word.
Base.
Sure. Because they agree with it, because it's the right thing to do. It is. Absolutely. Blow up the boats. Without even a question. How could you be against that? You don't just shoot people randomly. Who determines who a terrorist is? The person with the gun? What happens when they're wrong? If I saw somebody running at my house with a bomb, I would want to shoot them before they got to my house. I wouldn't want to try to apprehend them, arrest them, and try to put them through a whole process. No, you just fucking shoot them.
Exactly.
And he'd do the same thing.
The analogy doesn't work because the urgency of someone being immediately outside and someone being thousands of miles away are completely different.
It's insane. Okay, well, that's a good argument for why they're not narco-terrorists.
Oh, trafficking narcotics. Yes. The penalty is not instant death. Are you?
Yeah, it is. And if it's not, it should be.
Okay.
How about that? Who's going to stop us? Yeah, exactly. Fuck them.
You don't give the government unilateral authority to execute people on the premise of a crime that hasn't been proven after the execution has already taken place. Or, as Asmon said,
who determines who a terrorist is? The person with the gun? What happens when they're wrong? Do you ever think about this?
And now more equivocating of rhetoric that comes with a bunch of claims that would each require extensive work to counter, so please don't confuse my brevity for a lack of substance.
To be fair, this was after 4 years of them trying to delegitimize Trump's presidency by him being connected to Russia.
Multiple people on Trump's campaign were found guilty of crimes connected to Russia,
True.
Even if the direct collusion theory some people promoted didn't pan out.
There was, remember the hashtag #NotMyPresident, where people were saying that, oh, he's just, got elected because of Russia?
A Twitter hashtag is not indicative of people trying to delegitimize an election. Trump lost the popular vote in 2016 by a significant margin, and his many character flaws were apparent in the way he talked and operated.
While I do say that January 6th was a bad thing, I don't think that, again, Republicans did not invent election denial. And it turned out that all that, by the way, was bullshit.
Remember Al Franken? Al Franken was a senator. There was a picture that he took where he was like, fake grabbing somebody's titty while they were sleeping?
Though that would be the most well-known of Franken's transgressions, he was also accused of forcibly kissing a woman who was performing with him at a USO show, once again showing that Kalinsky needs to stop using Twitter as a source.
Uh-oh. I think if you want to talk about a policy decision that's like very unhinged that makes people radicalized, I think that a good example of that is the trans in sports. Also, like trans kids using bathrooms. Now, you can make an argument that this isn't really a big issue, but if it's not a big issue, then why are you fighting it so much?
Is my hair thinning because I'm getting older, or because I find clumps of it in my hands moments after I hear comments like that? They are not some grand-scale interference in the ability of cisgender kids to get scholarships or recognition. The biological condition of those kids is not inherently an advantage either, because traits that are advantageous vary from sport to sport before you even get to whether the kid in question has that trait to a degree that would be advantageous in the first place. It is not worth this level of national scrutiny to monitor this issue.
That argument is of the same validity of flat Earth. This is a flat Earth argument. I think loving Hitler is bad. Absolutely, it's bad.
And now for why Trump insulting everyone is acceptable, because people have been insulting him.
Okay, so what I find to be funny about this is that, yes, Trump has used negative words about Democrats, but how many times was Trump called a Nazi? How many times was he called a racist? How many times was he called a Russian asset? I would say calling somebody vermin, radical, or a lunatic is not even remotely in the same category as calling somebody a Nazi.
I feel like these people have just never listened to conservative politics for however many fucking years when they're like, they're fucking calling people fucking names on the fucking Democrat side. They fucking called him a fucking Nazi, bro. Like,
to assert that someone isn't a Nazi at the same time they're using the exact same rhetoric Hitler used against Jews is not going to be very convincing.
I think the reason why people like Kyle are upset is that the words that they have used for many, many years, things like Nazi, racist, etc., all these bullshit words, have effectively lost all of their meaning.
They haven't lost their meaning. People have just had their sense of shame eroded by the way social media simultaneously isolates us in echo chambers and creates competition for attention via the most extreme ideologies. It's not that calling something racism doesn't mean anything. It's that racism itself doesn't mean anything because it's become so normalized that people have, ironically, built up a tolerance.
And this is after they tried to put him in jail and, they gave him a mugshot, charged him 34 times for the same exact crime.
They didn't charge him 34 times for the same crime. He did the same crimes multiple times by funneling money through his campaign to pay off Stormy Daniels.
Serial killer? I killed 3 people at the same time. You're really going to charge me for 3 separate Come on, bro.
To cover up their affair.
It's pretty obvious that this has been weaponized from both directions.
Who's the biggest commentator on the right these days? Nick Fuentes. Here's some stuff Nick Fuentes has said. Quote, Hitler was really fucking cool. I admire Hitler.
Is it Fuentes or Fuentes? Everybody calls him Fuentes. Isn't it just Fuentes?
And how many crazy leftist people are out there? Oh, but Hassan said this thing. What the fuck does that have to do with me?
What Nick Fuentes said, like, I don't have to defend that. I didn't say that. Why the fuck would I even, why even bring that up?
What would you probably
I will say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's very obvious that the Democrats have been the massively violent ones. And if you look at all these studies, by the way, that were conducted, these studies don't show a massive rise in violence that happened in 2020. They don't show the massive rises in violence that happened during the Tesla bombings, for example. And the reason why is because all of these studies are biased.
So here's the obvious thing that Asmongold gets wrong about crime in 2020. There were, in fact, noticeable spikes in crime, but there were also noticeable drops in others. You have 3 seconds to guess why this might have happened. It was COVID. The spikes in crime have some correlation to BLM, but it wasn't an aberration in criminality. It was the main focus of people's attention while everyone was mostly stuck inside, and therefore it became associated with the overall trends going haywire. And I'm not dismissing the idea that there was violence during BLM that wouldn't have happened without it. A police station was burned down. There was about $2 billion in property damage. But here are the FBI's own statistics, not the calculation.
Fuck me. I don't think this was on stream. I think it was just somebody talking to me privately at an event or something. It was an older guy, actually. Somebody brought this up, and it's a really, really good point. I just never even considered it before. You shouldn't concede when you're comparing like left-wing and right-wing violence. You should never actually concede on the BLM stuff, because if you really think about it, the BLM violence, the vast majority of that, maybe all of it, was not left-wing violence. It wasn't like it was just rioting. It was rioters who were rioting. It was not like politically motivated, like, oh, we're gonna go and steal fucking whatever bullshit from some bullshit. Like, I will never concede on that point publicly again. Ugh.
Made by whatever university you'll probably think is biased. Joe Biden didn't switch out the FBI director Trump appointed, Christopher Wray. For all intents, these are Trump's numbers. Arson, larceny, and robbery, and then compare those to burglary, impersonations, and shoplifting. You can see that crimes went up or down relative to the proximity they have to other people. Unrelated, did you know that the FBI tracks how many people get charged with treason?
But any reasonable person who just looks at the news can clearly see that every single time that there is anything violent, besides maybe January 6th and maybe 1 or 2 other times, the majority of mass violence and mass hysteria
comes from people who might be left-wing, but it's not left-wing violence, right? Just because somebody who votes as a Democrat, goes out and robs a store, whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that was left-wing violence. It's not like politically motivated.
Is done by Democrats.
Asman, intentionally or not, has completely forgotten the threats against school boards, the plot to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer, the Paul.
These things are political violence. They're heavily motivated by the current political state of affairs. They're heavily inspired by, or sometimes cheer-led and then lied about by, like, leading conservative figures. Like, these are forms of, like, political violence.
Pelosi hammer attack, 2020 threats against election officials, and QAnon. This is not both sides' issue. 2020 has been gradually elevated by the right-wing media as a period of extreme violence, and January 6th has been gradually minimized.
And they are justified, rationalized, and considered okay by so many liberals, and that's a huge problem. The difference between me and I think a lot of people like Kyle is that if I say something that I think is wrong...
Wait, 10 seeker grenades. You think that'll blow up one of these big fuckers? Also, I have no idea what this weapon is like. Am I going to want to kill myself if I try to use this weapon?
I will say, I think that was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. But the problem is that people like Kyle don't accept that.
Well, I guess we'll see.
This is the mindset of the people that are making videos about me, disagreeing with me, crying about me, etc.
Well, I'm definitely doing 2 of those things.
Maybe one day, once a week or so, I'll have to react to some videos and things like that that people make of me.
In the unlikely chance he actually does that for this video, I hope you can at least say I'm approaching this in good faith.
Jesus, bro, the damage is insane.
There's been a lot of people talking about me, and it's been great.
So Dr. K was talking about people that had, he's like trying to draw a distinction between people that had like legit like mental pathological illness versus people who just have logically come to a conclusion that their life isn't worth living. And people got mad about that. And I think the reason why is that 80 to 90% of all self-help on the internet is just self-indulgent to make people who are doing bad things think that it's not their fault that they're doing the bad things.
Can you give an example?
Hello.
There are guys out there that have, they're incels, right? And they think that, the reason why they can't get a girlfriend is because of hoflation.
So like hoes, women, is it women having higher standards?
It's just that simple.
Well, why would they want to date someone that they think's a hoe?
Well,
because
all
everybody's
girls are hoes.
Oh, they're all hoes?
So that goes back to my point, right? And so it's like this person thinks that they can't get a girlfriend because of hoflation. No, you can't get a girlfriend because your life is a complete mess. Nobody wants to be around you. You don't have any guy friends either, except for other weirdos on the internet. People seek out different types of like people to tell them that, well, it's actually not your fault that you don't have a girlfriend. It's actually because of dating apps and these other things. They never get challenged to actually improve themselves on a personal level. They just get a fucking vicious cycle of learned helplessness. All they're doing is just feeding, it's an actual like legit thing.
It's good.
It's like a feeding frenzy on making themselves feel good for doing things that are bad and then consuming media that reaffirms that the bad things they're doing aren't their fault and are in fact not the cause of the problems they have.
The problem is not the amount of grenades you're using. You merely need more faith in your potential to kill it. Okay, thank you.
I really, really like playing video games. I do. I love playing video games. That's what I've been doing forever, right? And I don't know really, I don't know really what else besides that, because I just really like playing video games.
Mr. Beast built a theme park in Saudi Arabia because they probably gave him a ton of money.
Mr. Beast gets backlash for building wells in Africa, okay? There's so much irrational, brain-dead hate for Mr. Beast that any sort of, like, legitimate...
This is true. Mr. Beast gets a lot of hate. Mr. Beast would be like, you know, curing blindness in 1,000 kids, and people are like, why is our healthcare system even so fucked? If Mr. Beast didn't exist, then they would have the money already from his billion. It's like, come on, bro.
Criticism just goes away.
Most of the criticism is just that he uses the money he gives away to create content that undercuts the sense of generosity by commodifying it, even if the content itself is what allows him to provide the charity. Or Epstein-Clinton speculation.
This is why the media wanted Trump to win. Yeah, they wanted to have the first LGBT president, exactly. Ozempic single-handedly killed the body positivity movement.
Oh my god, can we not talk about fat people? I'd honestly rather talk about Israel at this point.
It was a psyop by fat women to make their body types seen as attractive in the public eye.
Believe it or not, women don't just think about how to be attractive to men all day. And in this case, it isn't about their relationship to men, it's about their relationship with the world, and the way people, such as yourself, treat them with intense disdain despite the fact that there is no absolute correlation between someone being fat and them over-consuming food or not exercising enough.
Nobody wants to be body positive. Like, nobody wants to be 400 pounds. It's fat and disgusting. They wanted to eat they wanted to have their cake and eat it too. In this case, literally, right? Now they can just take Ozempic and lose weight, and they don't need to be body positive anymore because they're weight negative. They're trans fat? Yes, exactly. It takes hunger away, but also it also kickstarts many other symptoms in your body. Well, I don't know exactly how any of that stuff works, okay? Like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying you should take Ozempic, okay?
You might not be directly saying it, but calling people who are fat ugly and disgusting, and then presenting a solution to that without a full understanding of its consequences is basically the entire reason body positivity exists. Because for years, advertisements, especially for fashion, would present a standard of beauty that was unobtainable, and that would couple with the social expectations to create eating disorders.
None of these fat girls, if they could snap their fingers and be skinny, they would do it. Every single one of them would do it. But some of them want to act like they wouldn't because they never have the opportunity to. But you see with Ozempic that they were all lying.
Muslims in Germany want their kids to be able to wear headscarves in school. Asmon sees religious exemptions to rules about headwear as unfair overreach by people who should do more to assimilate.
If you have it...
Wait, okay. I need to concentrate. I'm killing this motherfucker this time, okay? Hold on. Oh, hold on. Pottery! Okay. No! Rubber duck, yes. Okay. Wait. Is this not the same building I was in before? Nope, I was in the... Oh. Okay. Shh. Ha! I don't feel like that went inside, but okay. I helped somebody. Oh, this is where I was before. Okay. I see him. Do I want to throw seeker grenade? Are they going to seek him out? Is that doing damage? Did I? You need to pull the pin before throwing? No, shut the fuck up. Okay. These are definitely doing tons of damage. I can tell. See, I hear it. This guy just took so much damage. Where'd he go? I can't see. Okay. There he is. There he is. Fuck, did I not bring enough ammo? No, I should have plenty of ammo. I just need to keep throwing grenades. Can we... Can you come over here? If you get close, it won't shoot. Only easy to dodge AoE attack. I don't believe you. Shut the fuck up. Is somebody else trying to fight him over there? Oh! Wait, I can't tell if somebody's trying to fight him right now. Am I hitting him? Stop. Okay. I'm not hitting him. Ooh.
Hey!
Is this really an equal opportunity loot fest?
I owe you one.
Okay, I feel like I spent an inordinate amount of investment on that, but okay.
Let's go to Plaza Rosa.
What? This gun is nowhere near as strong as I thought it would be. Wait, did they actually... I kind of thought that this gun would be like shooting mini Pharaoh bullets, but it feels like it's like heavy ammo. Or, I'm sorry, not heavy. I'm sure it feels like medium ammo, like rattler damage. Ew. That gun is ass. Whatever.
Hey, Raider!
School where you can only wear hats, then I think wearing headscarves is okay. But if you're wearing a headscarf, you should also be able to wear a hat. There should never be a situation where a person's religion grants them extra privileges that other people do not have.
The obligation of assimilation comes with the understanding that doing so would create acceptance.
Just because you have a religious reason to wear something doesn't mean that the entire world has to accommodate it, right?
And since that even trade doesn't happen, I see no reason to not be accommodating where it creates the least harm.
And you're coming in there with something on your head, well, you're breaking the rule. I don't give a fuck about your religion. Nobody cares.
Okay, but you do, because the point of contention is conformity and assimilation.
Yeah, if you don't like it, go the fuck back to where you came from and then go live over there.
There are always questions to be resolved when a group integrates into another, but drawing the line that they might get to wear something on their head when everyone else doesn't is insane, given, especially in Germany, this exemption isn't just for immigrants, it's for the people who live in the country as well, and it's not exclusive to Muslims.
That's why I'm 50-50 about how Chinese deal with Muslims. It's harsh, but it works. Well, it's not about dealing with Muslims. What the fuck does that do with Muslims?
Again, Asmon ignores racism from his chat. During this, Asmon is asked whether doctors should get religious exemptions for procedures they don't want to perform.
It's not tricky at all. You shouldn't be telling a doctor to do anything that goes against their own morality. So whether that is an abortion, whether that is something else,
what?
Obviously a doctor should not have to do an abortion. A doctor should not have to do Botox. A doctor should not have to do plastic surgery. It's common sense.
I'm sorry. Don't doctors have specialties? I don't think they just pull in a doctor to do fucking anything for anything. Like, oh God, our cardiologist is out of the hospital today. Can we get our general medicine guy, or our general practice doctor to come in here and do the fucking heart surgery? Or our, we don't have a person here who, I don't know if it's OBGYNs or who normally, probably not. I don't know what kind of surgeons normally do abortions. I mean, I'm sure an OBGYN could maybe, but like, okay, based.
That's right.
If the state creates an expectation of a minimum standard of care that would be provided by a medical service or practitioner, and that service or practitioner refuses to provide it, leading to harm, then they are the ones doing something wrong. It is on the practitioners to opt out of providing the overall services if they are against the individual ones, because that creates the potential for greater undue harm to patients than if they were obligated to do them all, especially when you can simply opt into a specialization that doesn't include what you're against. A neurologist doesn't have to do heart surgery, but if you're a heart surgeon who doesn't believe in using animal grafts despite their ethics...
You're saying Dr. House couldn't do all that shit? I do love that I think for like all the house doctors were like, could do everything. Like I think Chase and Foreman were both doing like brain surgery and heart surgeries like in different episodes. It's like, Jesus Christ, you guys have a lot of fucking time. But the funniest part about all of it is not only were they apparently qualified to do surgery on every part of the body, but they were also running labs. Like you have the most overqualified doctors in the history of existence. Like, can you go do that MRI? Can you go do that X-ray? Like, yes, they also have to go and do all the labs themselves as well. They need to take, like, Jesus Christ.
Like I say, then it's up to you to decide whether heart surgery is for you.
You don't want to go and look at a graph or like some, you don't want to look at a study. All of these studies, everything like that, if it goes against your common sense and rationality, it's probably bullshit. I never trust studies. I never trust experts. I don't
King! What a king!
Trust anybody. The thing that I trust is what I think. Now, if I see something that I disagree with and there's like things that are written down and it's like, a quantified thing, I look at the reason why it's different. But at the same time, I don't start from the position that I'm wrong. I start from the position that I think I'm right. I have based everything in my life off of that. And I think
never been wrong.
To relatively good outcomes in my life.
Yeah.
One thing that I've learned doing anything professionally is that the people that are experts and veterans in certain industries,
they're fucking retarded.
All industries,
they're retarded.
Are literally brain dead retards.
Yes!
People in specialized industries put the majority of their effort into that industry. That doesn't mean they're stupid, it just means...
Well, except for when they agree with me, then I'll say those experts.
Is that their other opinions are probably less informed. I'd trust Ben Carson to do brain surgery, but I would not trust him to be president.
Even doctors get shit wrong all the time.
Please trust your doctor. Thousands of people hurt themselves taking ivermectin and hydrochloroquine, and of the 1 million people who have died of COVID in the United States, it's estimated that over 300,000 who died would have lived if they got vaccinated.
And so you never, ever, ever do that. Always base things off of what you think.
And I don't want to talk to a scientist. Y'all motherfuckers lying and getting me pissed.
And if you can't do that, you need to figure out how to get your level of comprehension and your consciousness up to the point where you can base things off of what you think.
Yeah, tell your parents you don't want to go to college with the experts. All you need are street smarts.
Base problem?
Like if I agreed with him? Yeah, if I agree with him, if I thought it made sense.
Once again, we get evidence that social media is frying Asmongold's brain.
Oh, God! No!
It's just a word.
No!
The Jews clearly control the media and the banks.
Oh, wow. This is my Instagram?
Where's the lie?
I don't know. You guys want to hear what mine sounds like? Let's find out.
Where's the lie?
Labradors. It would be racist to not let the pit bulls in to join us.
Don't put your candles.
That was the first scroll. That was a dog with a Jewish yarmulke on his head. Okay, so it took one.
Representative Stacey Plaskett was discovered to have been texting with Jeffrey Epstein during a 2019 congressional hearing with Michael Cohen over his relationship with Donald Trump. Wildly stupid and unforced error, to put it mildly.
But somehow, when you're texting in class, oh, that's bad. What the fuck? This really doesn't help the idea that there are people controlling the government, and it's on both sides. And it's on a certain level.
Both sides.
It kind of makes sense. If you were looking for somebody to have in your corner that knows this stuff, it would be Jeffrey Epstein, right?
I was almost going to agree with Asmon before he said there's a secret group controlling the American government.
The left media has TDS, so they won't report on it and focus on it? I guess so, because they want to make it look like Jeffrey Epstein was a Republican thing.
True.
Epstein was best friends with the current Republican president, who has worked very hard for most of the year to keep the Epstein files hidden.
So,
while every Democrat and every Republican except one voted to release the Epstein files. Asmongold asks and answers the age-old question. What is a woman?
This is a real response to what is a woman.
Asmon misunderstands the analogy of color being something that you cannot literally describe except as a psychological response, and decides to take that as a challenge.
Colorblindness is a disorder. So if you look at blue and you think that it's not blue, you have a disorder. If you apply that same logic and argumentation to gender.
Cool, being trans is a mental disorder. Even in those terms, most effective treatment is still tolerance and acceptance. Also, in terms of that analogy, we provide services and systems that allow colorblind people to function in society on their terms, instead of forcing them to adapt to colors they can't see. We don't obligate social norms to what the average capacity of a person is. We create the means for everyone to participate, because that has always made things better for everyone.
I don't need to watch a YouTube video to figure out that there's two genders, okay? This is what I was talking about before, about like, oh, but there's a study that says this. No, I don't want to hear this study.
Unless someone of a particular sex presenting as another is such a severe transgression that rates of self-harm and suicidality are acceptable to you, pronouns in bio aren't that bad.
If you look at blue and you see another color, you have a disorder called colorblindness. If you look at a male and you see a female and you say that person has a disorder, now you're a right-wing Nazi.
Nobody is making the argument that trans people are literally changing their DNA and bone structure when they transition. And they aren't asking other people to lie when addressing them by preferred pronouns, any more than someone who got married is asking someone to lie when their last name changes.
How does that happen?
But hey, if you want to be an equal opportunity hater, here's another chance to get angry at a woman who went viral for claiming sexual assault.
Women get massively treated way better by the justice system than men do. It's not even remotely close. You want to talk about a privilege? That's a privilege.
Women are under greater risk of sexual assault and mistreatment in prison, as well as having more trouble receiving necessities for things like menstruation.
So this is a bureaucratic bad faith Karen in action, weaponizing systems and different types of bureaucracy. This is how a Karen insulates itself inside of modern society.
Itself.
Everybody talks about like the Andrew Tate toxic male communities.
Foid.
This is the female equivalent to that, by the way. It's a bunch of dishonest, disingenuous, obnoxious, stupid women that get together, that hate men, that are liars, that try to manipulate situations, emotionally blackmail everybody, and put themselves in a position where they get to tell everybody else what to do.
Holy shit! Wait, that was a kid. Wait.
Everybody talks about like the Andrew Tate toxic male communities. This is the female equivalent to that, by the way.
Oh, he started off with female equivalent. I was gonna say that he just perfectly described his own kind of community, or like the incelish kind of communities.
It's a bunch of dishonest, disingenuous, obnoxious, stupid women that get together, that hate men, that are liars, that try to manipulate situations, emotionally blackmail everybody, and put themselves in the position where they get to tell everybody else what to do.
No, this is someone on TikTok. They are not indicative of a broader trend or ideology. They are just a video that's gone viral for being rage bait that gets picked up by people looking for an excuse to be mad at women because social media algorithms seek engagement, which is honestly the most appropriate word for it because Asmon is married to this belief.
You want to talk about toxic male behavior? That's fine. I think there is some of that.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, I should have fucking blasted that dude. No, because he didn't blast me, even though I was shooting loudly. Excuse me. Okay.
This is toxic female behavior.
Okay, but you aren't talking about toxic male behavior. You're only talking about women.
And now we have the Karens going to jail. Oh my God! I am so happy. Wow.
The issue isn't that women can't be bad. It's that your audience doesn't make any distinction between the women who are Karens and the women who aren't. It's Karen until proven otherwise.
I love how she thinks that she matters. You're a DoorDash driver. If you died tomorrow, they wouldn't even do it. They wouldn't even know about it.
I could give you the statistics.
And yet here you are obsessively talking about her, bruh.
That show what the actual success rate of false accusations of sexual assault are. But why should I try to counter an anecdotal claim like that? Show me in numbers how there are so many Karens Karening all over that it would justify labeling them as an enemy of America.
True.
This is the enemy of America right here. It's not the Jews. It's not the black people.
True.
It's not the Middle East. It's not even all the Muslims.
It's women.
Obsessed, virtue signaling, obnoxious, privileged Karens that will import every problem from the rest of the world into America.
Jesus.
And they will also manipulate, lie. That is the prime evil in America.
Now, if he would just change that to white women.
A lot of people want it to be Jews, but I think this is the real problem. Do you hate women? No, but I hate women like her.
Oh, well, that certainly undoes saying that Karens are enemies of America. Hopefully you don't go into an explanation of why the Mexican protests you support all are right because there's no time to not be anti-Semitic while the government is corrupt.
And what if she is Jewish? Ooh, uh-oh. Puta Judea. I don't think that I need a translator for that one, okay, guys? I think I know exactly what that one means.
We've reached the final level of the horseshoe as Asmongold excuses anti-Semitism because the people doing it don't have time to not be anti-Semitic.
People care about race. You might not like that. I might not like that, but it's true. And also, by the way, oh my God, the whole protest is anti-Semitic. Well, actually, okay, to be fair,
Is there no spider?
I caught this. Guys, I think I know who's been watching all those Instagram reels.
Unironically, you have just figured out the problem I'm pointing to.
People don't give a shit about these like weird tone policing rules whenever they don't have any fucking food and they can't live in a way that has any degree of dignity. And many of the revolutionists are furious that a woman who is not a Catholic...
No, spider!
Sorry, these things matter to people. You know, you might not like that reality, but you still gotta live in it. They're a bitch Jew. Of course it's relevant. Yeah, of course it does. Representation matters, right? Yeah, of course. Do you think people are gonna call them anti-Semitic in the US? They already are.
It's just horseshoes all the way down. And you guessed it, more women on the internet are bad.
Ronaldo doesn't understand this maybe, but there's a bunch of fat, ugly, disgusting middle-aged women that are on social media. They want you to replace your audience of other young guys that like abrasive, edgy, funny, just general male humor.
We get it. You don't like it when mom tells you to go to bed.
These are the women that are in the PTA. They're in the fucking, they're in the HR department. They're the ones in the PR department. They're the ones complaining to your boss. They're the ones in the,
Bruh,
in the bureaucracy.
Okay?
This is what they do.
It's like Trainwrecks 2.0.
Imagine me going on Twitter and some retarded hog says on social media, oh, you shouldn't say this. Shut the fuck up, bitch. You're gonna tell me what I can and can't say. Who the fuck are you? And it's also, I don't want to make people think it's all women doing this. Like, this isn't like a men versus women thing.
He says before.
Our feminist men too.
The happiness of a Karen is the same principle as of a vampire. And did this stupid bitch block me? I'll stop taking part in toxic politics whenever left-wing people stop calling you a Nazi or a Hitler or a fascist whenever you want to enforce immigration law.
Once again, the topic of misleading data about left-wing versus right-wing violence comes up, and a chatter actually calls Asmon out when he says he doesn't trust the government.
Riding hard for the government? What the fuck does that even mean?
It means that you're okay with blowing up Venezuelan boats without evidence, deporting people without evidence, cutting government programs that have showcased decades of benefits in international diplomacy and trade, and every other thing done by Donald Trump while declaring that he is completely innocent of any wrongdoing despite being the closest person to Jeffrey Epstein amongst every person connected to him.
I think you choose what to trust. I do. Absolutely, I choose what to trust. You should try it sometime. It would help you.
Help has a very loose definition here. Hassan in China.
The problem with what Hassan is saying is that I very strongly agree with most of it, but I don't agree with part of it.
Once again, I am shocked that Asmon can accurately explain a concept. Not because I think he's dumb, but because you think it creates some cognitive dissonance.
I think he's right that the best antidote to xenophobia is experience. A lot of us have probably had that happen ourselves, where you met somebody from a country that you had a predisposition towards, like positive or negative, and that person changed your predisposition by talking with them. But at the same time, the actions of a government do not represent the will of its people necessarily, especially in countries like China, Russia, or apparently Mexico, right?
But then he's back to 8th Amendment violations.
Can we just do lashings instead? No, I don't want to. I mean, okay, I think that there's a place for creative kinetic punishment.
Recruit trainee John Rico was sentenced to administrative punishment. 10 lashes.
You've got to really save that. That way it has a lot of, it has emphasis when it happens.
And while looking at a propaganda video of China's surveillance technology, Asmon mentions his perspective on police clearance rates and how the world combats terrorism.
I'm not sure about that. The murder solve rate's only 70%. If we had the surveillance in our home country, I feel like it'd be higher. No, it's not. Do you want to know why they don't solve a lot of cases? It's because they don't care.
Solving murders is actually really hard, and the reason you see people who commit heinous crimes getting caught isn't because Clarice spoke to Hannibal. It's because the people who do those crimes are usually really stupid. CSI technology looks so advanced because of how intensive it needs to be to scrape information out of a crime scene, which is indicative of the difficulty.
Don't forget when they blew up all those blew up all the pagers and wiped out a terrorist organization in one day. They could stop all those terrorists. They choose not to. I also think that there is a degree of that that's true.
The pager attack, while impressive as an operation, did not wipe out Hezbollah. Israel is still bombing Lebanon because of Hezbollah activity.
I mean, I think this is badass. I'm going to be honest. This is crazy. And, like, we need to have this for some people that do things here, too. Like, I'm not saying I want a surveillance state.
But everything you've said you wanted the government to do requires a surveillance state.
I don't know if it's just where I live or not, but ever since that whole Epstein thing started getting popular, I've been seeing, like, way more lizards.
And then we go back to Mexico for a Fox News interview with these two right-wing nutjobs who do a podcast. And before you think I'm calling them right-wing nutjobs as a dismissive insult.
Concretamente estamos en guerra contra una familia que en la declaración de Balfour es la que fundó el Estado de Israel, que podemos hablar de eso, que es la familia Rothschild, ¿vale? Y esa familia concretamente nunca ha sido auditado su patrimonio. Entonces, Elon Musk tiene más ni de coña. O sea, ni de coña. Elon Musk no es la persona más rica del planeta.
Let me guess, he never actually proves these guys wrong, does he?
No sabemos verdaderamente qué es lo que tienen y qué es lo que dejan de tener, porque han diversificado en esta estructura bursátil todo su poder y todo su monopolio, que lo tienen.
What is he saying? I don't want to read. He's just asking good questions about wealth and Jews and Elon Musk. Okay.
Entonces yo digo, es que no puede ser solo el dinero, aquí tiene que haber algo más metafísico, tiene que haber algo más espiritual, tiene que haber algo mucho más profundo. Y ahí es donde entra el tema de vamos a juzgar qué es lo que ellos atacan siempre. Siempre atacan la moral católica, la moral cristiana.
Y Jota, dos puntos ahí muy interesantes. La parte del capitalismo, que tienes opiniones muy diferentes a lo que la gente común piensa acerca de, pero esta parte de Jesús, de Cristo, de los católicos, de esta guerra en contra del catolicismo. ¿Por qué crees que hay tanto odio en contra de Jesús? En contra del verdadero Dios.
Porque es lo que daría mayor poder a las personas para no ser controladas.
Did Fox even check what these guys talk about on their podcast?
I'm sure there's like a degree of partisan politics that's attached to everything, but this is primarily a identity revolt rather than a political revolt, which is insane.
Once again, Asmon misunderstands the capabilities of the U.S. military.
If you put experienced Navy SEALs and generals that actually want to end this war how long do you think it would take them to totally figure out, map out, and completely eliminate every single one of those people? I would say less than 6 months.
This is the exact same line of thinking that got the US stuck in Iraq for over a decade.
It's at 2 weeks, yeah. I mean, come on, guys. What are we talking about?
And then Asmon says he'd support regime changing Mexico if their police started shooting protesters.
Basically, regime change their government. Which, I mean, by the way, I would support that. I would completely support that.
King.
There's no way that we should have a country that is a bordering country of ours that is a PvP
where we
server.
don't control
speculate, but I think this belief is downstream of thinking that Venezuelan boats are okay to blow up as well.
What's the goal when I get through? You don't want to know. What do you think? What do you think happens? What do you think happens when they get through and they get to all the people in the government? 1, 2, 3. I know that one. This is something I didn't talk about yesterday, is that the media is part of the Uniparty. And the Uniparty is the one thing that they are more afraid of than anything else is for identity politics to die.
Wow, true.
And a protest like this is a protest that transcends identity politics. I think the BBC is a totally biased, completely partisan network. You shouldn't trust anything that they say. They're total bullshit, and they're all liars.
Because Trump said...
I know that everyone here
Unlike
will soon
Donald
be
Trump,
marching
though.
over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
In a speech that also included...
So, let's have trial by combat. We will never give up. We will never concede. Because you'll never take back
Never
our country
surrender.
with weakness.
Where's the
You have
Ted
to
Cruz
show
video?
strength, and you have to be strong. We will not take it anymore. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell,
You're not going to have a country anymore.
As a result, it
True.
was a group of people assaulting cops to force their way into a building, and based on your reaction to the rioting in Mexico...
They're January 6ing. I'm proud of them. They're January 6ing. What's the goal when they get through? What do you think happens when they get through and they get to all the people in the government?
You know what they wanted to do in there. Asmon's getting upset that they didn't include his one mention of being peaceful, not because they're biased, but because they didn't provide an excuse to exonerate him.
And like, again, like, I mean, why would you edit Trump's speech in that way? Well, it's because you're biased.
He talks about the Epstein files some more. It's nothing we haven't heard already.
Yeah, he's mentioned, but that doesn't mean that he did anything wrong. If it's a hoax, then just release it and show everybody that it's bullshit. Like, I don't even understand the logic here.
And while Marjorie Taylor Greene tries to pivot towards not being a Jewish space laser nut job, Asmon sees her as capitulating to the media and creating a permission structure for people to move away from the right. His phrasing is a little word salady. Maybe you get something different.
This is what mainstream media does, is they try to manufacture consensus by having a degree of, like, kind of, they create an ecosystem that allows them to manufacture consensus about different issues. And I think this is a good example of them doing that.
But the point is that he doesn't think the left will accept her because she used to be in the bad for Trump.
It doesn't matter how many apologies that you do. It doesn't matter anything. You will always be the Trump person. Like, the boats are burned. The bridge is burned. It's never going to happen. Like, the problem is these people are, like, defined by purity testing. That you're not going to apologize to them and then have them vote for you.
It's not purity testing to say that someone who rode the wave of QAnon to get elected to Congress and harass school shooters needs to do more to show that they've had a change of heart. Not every judgment is based solely on in-group, out-group.
Trying to apologize and capitulate to Democrats or leftists will never work. It will never work. No! It will only make people more frustrated with you.
To be clear, this messaging is what makes it so hard to reach people. The idea that you won't be accepted, so you might as well entrench yourself on one side regardless of what actually happens. If you agree with a lot of what someone like Kyle Kulinski wants for the country, then you aren't capitulating because the plans being put in place are still intended to go in the same direction you want, and your input will be appreciated. Being conservative isn't in itself a bad thing. Obviously, a lot of people on the far left on the internet have a maximalist view of things and say that you're immoral if you don't want to spend all of the money on all of the things, but they're taking hypotheticals too literally. We need people with reasonable expectations of budgetary, economic, and even social changes so that we can take time and use experimentation to get things right. The culture war nonsense has infected every debate and dialogue such that every possible point of negotiation becomes a hill to die on, and that has allowed more and more extreme people to get away with worse and worse things. If I told Asmongold 5 years ago that Trump was using the military to kill people in the middle of the ocean on the premise of them being terrorists without proper evidence, he would say that's bad. But now, if he doesn't defend that, then the rest of the defenses collapse.
True.
You can think that people knowingly trafficking drugs like fentanyl into the United States deserve to die on the spot, but you should be able to recognize that allowing the state to actually do that is an opening for much worse abuses of power. And when those abuses happen and they're defended, the abuses can once again get worse. At some point, you have to say that even though I'm not against what's happening, I don't want something worse to happen in its place.
I think that in 2026, if they have the midterm elections...
The fact that you'll say if we still have elections is exactly why people take issue with your politics.
Jesus.
What's wrong? What's wrong, fat bitch? Oh, no.
I drink what I want, when I want.
Hey there.
So what is all this racist ass shit that you've been saying?
What the fuck? Only 10 were actually kids? Ugh. So that means they're going to end up being sent to a high school with kids and they're an adult?
Well, I mean...
Don't forget homophobic.
Oh, yeah.
Misogynistic.
Chance of success, number of women involved. Is this for video games? No, it's for a relationship. Yeah, I would have agreed with it either way. So yeah, for everything? It seems that way, doesn't it?
Transphobic.
Let's just be gay, guys.
0.6% of the population. But if you
Where
look
are
at
my
media
bro
representation,
jobs?
you'd think that they're like 10 or 20%.
Fatphobic.
You guys notice there aren't any fat people in this game?
Poor people.
And I would reduce foreign aid by about 80%. I would even take people that were residents of the country. If they were not net positive taxpayers and they were not performing an essential job, I'd deport them too. You know, there are just some things that you see that really put things into perspective, don't they?
One more dawn, one more day, one day more.
So we need to make it too big to rig. That's a fact. Well, we thought we did that with Black Myth Wukong, but unfortunately, the Game Awards was using the 3/5 compromise, where Chinese players only count for 3/5 of a vote of an American player, right, guys?
That doesn't even make sense.
Somebody took a picture of me and my stomach was sticking out a bit, and I just stopped eating food. I stopped. No, obviously you don't need any food. Look at that. If you needed food, you wouldn't look like that.
Oh, now it makes sense.
Body shaming? It's not body shaming, it's body accountability. Okay, you've got to be accountable for being a fat piece of shit.
Deja vu all over again.
Well, I already said that before. You win 9 wars and you suck 1 dick. I don't think it's going to be anything damaging for Trump that's going to come out. People say it's like a mob boss. Like, he probably would have edited the files or changed them or something like that. I don't think he would want to release the files if they would incriminate him to be a pedophile, right?
I need Asmon to square his approval of Trump with the recognition that he'd manipulated documents that would expose him as a pedophile, and that doing so would make the entire file release worthless because you wouldn't know what was legitimate and what was altered for the benefit of Trump or the people Trump would want to protect.
You know, we'll see what happens.
Oh my god, now Claudia Scheinbaum is a Karen because she doesn't want to send the Mexican military to fight the cartels.
Do you remember what I said yesterday about how a Karen mind has to exist inside of a bureaucracy?
Wait. By the way, I don't know if Asmongold is knowingly co-opting these talking points. This might sound a little crazy, but the fixation on women thing is like a... I don't know if I would call it a neo-Nazi talking point, but there's this concept or this idea. The people that talk about repeal the 19th say that because women have like more emotion and more hormones and they're like weaker humans, the problem with women is that when women start voting, they'll vote to replace everybody in ordinary society, and then that will be destroyed from within because of women voters. So when Asmongold made that reference earlier about how like women like want to replace us with other people, that was what that reference was to, which is, I feel like that's like a... I don't know how to say it strictly that's neo-Nazism, but it's like very close. I can't see. Got him. Okay.
Like a bureaucracy and the mind of a Karen are one and the same thing. This is it. So let me get this straight. Because the law says you can't go after the people that are causing problems, then I guess we just have to let the people cause problems. No, you change the law or you ignore it. If you have a rule and the rule leads you to chaos, what reason do you have the rule for?
Because we're not all Anton Chigurh thinking in absolute...
Yeah, I was going to say, hello? Okay.
Absolutes about a coin toss dictating life and death.
Never actually give a fuck about rules, guys. Like, every rule can be changed. Every rule was written by a council of old geriatric retards. Obviously, you have to follow the law as an individual citizen, but whenever you're talking about like how to change your country and how to improve your country, you should not look at the existing rules and say, well, that's as far as we can go.
Does he realize this perspective completely undoes literally every argument that he's made about immigration that isn't justified by cultural bias?
Your chat became anti-Semitic as fuck? Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't like Jewish people, and they don't like Israel, and she's a Jew.
Problem?
That's true. Like, in an unmoderated platform, that's what happens. I don't agree with that. I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't even really like. I don't like what Israel's government's doing. I think Israel's government's problematic in a lot of ways. But if you want me to go around and like ban every single person that said something that you might see as anti-Semitic, that's just not going to happen. Like, if you think they're saying something bad, just report them. And the crazy stuff does get banned. I don't want to hear this. I don't care about this. The words mean nothing to me. Okay, like don't waste my fucking time.
You're not personally anti-Semitic, but you're not willing to actually do anything about anti-Semitism within your sphere.
Yes, that's right. So if you kill the people that are being violent, then you're just going to have more violence. No. So at first they came for the cartels, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't part of the cartels. And after that, they came after the drug dealers and murderers, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a drug dealer and murderer. And then after that, they stopped coming for people because the problems went away.
You have completely missed the point, and also that was anti-Semitic, so good job. Why do I need to explain that it's actually much harder to deal with people who have guns than just throwing the military at them? That there's a real human cost to these choices, and that we should be wary of leaders who are so enthusiastic about their willingness to throw people in the meat grinder just because overall you have more to expend.
Oh, by the way, fascism is when the government is controlled by a paramilitary organization that kills people extrajudicially.
That is not what fascism is. More hating women.
That's right, you stupid bitch. Get out of here.
Actually, you know what? Let me give you a rundown. Wikipedia says fascism is characterized by support for a dictatorial leader.
I don't think it's going to be anything damaging for Trump that's going to come out.
Centralized autocracy.
Hire 250,000 government workers overall. Nobody fucking critical.
Good. It should have been more.
Militarism.
Because it's the right thing to do. It is. Absolutely. Blow up the boats.
Forcible suppression of opposition.
Hey, I have a fucking, like a directive, a mandate by God, okay? To get rid of as much of this woke millennial slop that I possibly can. And that's why I do it, by the way. I do it because I know it bothers them. It upsets them and it bothers them and it scares them. Okay. And I will continue doing it until they stop doing the things that I don't like.
Okay. Belief in a natural social hierarchy.
I would even take people that were residents of the country. If they were not net positive taxpayers and they were not performing an essential job, I'd deport them too. And so guys should have a complete monopoly on making games? Yes.
Subordination of individual interests for the perceived interest of the nation or race.
I would want to use the military to deport every illegal alien in the country. I would want to bring back insane asylums and put crazy people in insane asylums. So just put them in jail. Simple.
And strong regimentation of society and the economy.
And if girls want to make games, they should make their own games. You have Stardew Valley.
You have Animal Crossing, you have Pokemon.
Opposed to more left-wing ideologies such as democracy.
I think that in 2026, if they have the midterm elections...
Britannica says the characteristics are extreme militaristic nationalism.
Not in the Western Hemisphere, not in our backyard, because that destabilizes trade, it destabilizes economies. It's the security of the United States at stake here.
Contempt for electoral democracy.
They're January 6ing. I'm proud of them. They're January 6ing.
A belief in a natural social hierarchy and the rule of elites.
Elon Musk took over Twitter, fired 80%...
Wait a second. Yeah, I'm starting to think this Asmongold guy is not a very good dude.
...of the staff, and nothing changed to the product. In fact, I think the product got better.
And a desire to create a German word that I'm not going to try pronouncing.
If you have a rule, and the rule leads you to chaos, what reason do you have the rule for? And now we have the Karens going to jail. Oh my God!
Webster's defines fascism as a populist political philosophy, movement, or regime.
And so you never, ever, ever do that. Always base things off of what you think.
That exalts nation and often race above the individual.
Then why the fuck do we keep importing people?
It is associated with a centralized autocratic government.
Because the law says you can't go after the people that are causing problems, then I guess we just have to let the people cause problems. No, you change the law or you ignore it.
Headed by a dictatorial leader.
And do you not feel bad for telling people to vote for him? No. No, he's done a lot of things that I agree with.
And that's characterized by severe economic and social regimentation and by forceful suppression of opposition.
And people like this, in my opinion, they need to be put in a mental institution and just kept there until they stop being crazy or they die. I don't know, either one. But yeah, it's not.
And even if you take all of those as left-wing biased shills, Conservapedia says that the characteristics of fascism include a belief that the state is more important than the individual.
So the U.S. government can read a license plate with a satellite, but you think that a Twitter post that said that the people were innocent is more accurate than that.
A leaning towards authoritarian government and violence.
If you steal from a store, instant mandatory prison time. Even if you stole.
Preference for centralized economic planning.
And if they don't want to get along with that, then I wouldn't give them access to the American economy and I would heavily tariff them.
An emphasis on nationalism and national traditions.
And you're coming in there with something on your head, well, you're breaking the rule. I don't give a fuck about your religion. Nobody cares. If you don't like it, go the fuck back to where you came from and then go live over there.
Militarism.
If you put experienced Navy SEALs and generals that actually want to end this war, how long do you think it would take them to totally figure out, map out, and completely eliminate every single one of those people? I would say less than 6 months.
Information control and censorship.
If it's a hoax, then just release it and show everybody that it's bullshit.
Media propagation of the great leader, which demonizes and trivializes his critics.
If you are intentionally redacting a name that was previously unredacted publicly, you're doing that because you're trying to mislead people.
And a rejection of both free enterprise and socialism in favor of corporatist economic policies.
Good. They weren't doing their job.
The characteristics of fascism also include rampant cronyism and corruption.
Yeah, he's mentioned, but that doesn't mean they did anything wrong.
As well as rigged elections.
If they have the midterm elections.
And a general disdain for free speech and human rights.
A human rights violation. According to who? Somebody who disagrees with you?
True.
Oh, okay.
True.
Well, let's just listen to them tell you why you're wrong. No, I don't think so.
Fascism has several tenets to it, with enough fluidity between them that no pillar is truly central until it needs to be, and then it can be replaced with another depending on what is necessary at the time to placate the masses. You might have...
True. Wait, hold on. I need to focus on this. I can't listen to this while I do this. 1 sec. I've always said this for a long time for conservatives. I think we're way past the point now where it's like, if you just describe...
Hello there!
Socialism, or... Oh, he said hi. If you just describe fascism in like other terms, like they'd be fine with it. Just don't use the word fascism, but like just describe all of the other things related to it, and most like conservatives would be okay with it. I think we're pretty well into that now with Lay Trump. Okay. I'm gonna shoot this guy with lots of grenades. Are you serious? No. This gun sucks. I will be happy when I die. Some poor fuck somewhere got this gun and is like, oh, it's purple, it's so good. It's so fucking trash. Okay, stop moving. Stop. Does he ever stop? You know what? I can hit him while he's moving. Doesn't matter. Okay. Really? How many fucking grenades? It takes like 20 if you don't hit its weak spots. Is that actually true? Hit weak spot for maximum damage? Do you have to hit the weak spot with the grenade? It's just a fucking grenade. It should just explode. It's an explosion. Oh. All right. Nothing of value here. Okay. Hold on. That back spot. Wait, it blew up. Nope. No! Can somebody else shoot it, please? Hello? Oh, I almost fucking just lost my fucking mind. Oh my god, there's a hero! Ah! No!
Hey there.
Let me just waste all my medical supplies. Did somebody just jump off? Bro, you guys are crazy. The fuck was that? Oh, that poor guy, the hero down there.
Right there, get out. Yes.
Does anybody have a defib for that guy? Hello? A thing? One thing? Oh, two things. Three things. Actually, that was good for me. Holy shit, actually, I got out really good here. This... Damn, this guy had some shit.
Head home at the loading bay metro. Let's take that metro entrance.
Go to the spaceport and hunt them there with 2 to 3 tailblazer grenades. Do you need a light bulb?
I have no space, but yes.
Hello.
Give him a core? Bruh, I spent 4 million nades on it. That's my kill, motherfucker. Deadline one-shots them, Destiny. Hop on top like that guy did and plant it. Instant kill for only 5k. Do you buy deadlines?
I got your 6, brother. Look at me going.
Once heard that fascism means an enemy that is simultaneously strong enough to negatively affect your life, but weak enough that it can be easily fought and defeated.
This is the enemy of America, right here.
This is the means by which that enemy is created, and the populace is held in a constant state of war against them. When a pillar is moved, so too is the definition of the enemy.
We need to start looking at people that are crazy, and we need to put all of the crazy people in a box that says mental institution, and we just keep them there. And then everybody else can live in paradise.
We just need to keep women out of things that I don't like.
Yes.
Strictly enforce the law on immigrants and the mentally ill, which includes queer people.
Yeah, it's too brutal. We'll make them do big rocks and little rocks. Well, yeah, I don't think we should kill them. I don't think so at all. It's a waste of labor.
Bully people into conformity.
It was a psyop by fat women to make their body types seen as attractive in the public eye.
Lie when it benefits you.
Lie on your resume, lie in your interview, lie in your tutorial, lie while you're doing your job. And the only time you don't do that is if it's against the law. Terrible advice. It worked for me.
Don't trust a decadent elite.
One thing that I've learned doing anything professionally is that the people that are experts and veterans in certain industries, and I think almost all industries, are generally brain-dead retards.
Embrace the traditional level of anti-Semitism.
If they want to unban Sneeko, I'd be fine with that. I like Sneeko. I think he's a great guy. I don't agree with everything he says, obviously.
Down with the Yahud! Down with the Yahud!
So, I think they should unban him. Why wouldn't they? It's been driving me fucking crazy because I just keep forgetting about it. And...
Wait!
Magnify!
Yeah, Asmongold has been... We gotta do a stream. Does he want me to reach out to him?
I don't know if Twitch is ready for that one yet.
Oh, God.
Now... I will say it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You're just making this up because you don't want somebody that you disagree with to be on the fucking computer, right?
You're saying that Hitler was not a bad guy?
If we're going to say Hitler bad, then I'm going to say Churchill bad, and I'm going to say Roosevelt bad, and I'm going to say they're all bad. But if we look at him as a product of his time in that moment...
I think loving Hitler is bad. Absolutely, it's bad.
Support conspiracy theories.
Somebody else is running our government. Who?
Fucking base. Absolutely 100% true. I completely agree with him.
I mean, the answer seems to be clear. There's no question Epstein was working with Israel.
Israel was gaining a benefit from him, but I think it could be possible that Epstein could have been an unwilling participant.
Ignore the law so we can kill all the people who are causing problems.
Epstein was innocent. They told him those girls were older. True.
Every rule was written by a council of old geriatric retards.
And then society will be perfect. Why does Asmon take offense to being called a fascist? In the 1 week I've watched him, hell, just today, He has endorsed every core aspect of the ideology.
And we just keep them there. And then everybody else can live in paradise.
Also, why does the "and then we would have paradise" line sound so familiar?
No, it's not women. No, it's not blacks. It's actually really complicated. No, it fucking isn't at all. Jews are running society. Women need to shut the fuck up. Blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. And we would live in paradise.
He's saying the same thing Nick Fuentes said.
Everybody else is going to be, everything in the world is going to instantly get better. The whole world is going to improve instantaneously. We just put all the crazy people in a box, and then everybody else can go do what they want. And now I get this, I get this. I don't even know what that is. It's a bigger number. A yeller.
What are these grenade things you're talking about? Can I buy them or no? Oh, grenades.
XQC says Asmongold has been pretty unhinged the last few months and calls his chat pretty radical. Maybe I take it a little bit too far.
1,000 damage.
And I generally don't really explain what I think because I think that in doing so, you capitulate to people that are bad actors. Like, I think anybody going out there saying some crazy genocidal mass murder person is...
Okay, if I jump on his back and I plant this and get away, he will die? That's what you're telling me. That's what you're telling me. Put this on his back and he will die. Can you craft it? No. Let's fucking do it. Let's try it. Fuck it, bro.
It's good. I think that, yeah, you should probably get suspended for that. Again, like, I take somebody like him saying something like this about me, like, actually seriously, and I'll think about it, rather than, you know, like a Reddit thread or like a tweet or something like that, especially from somebody that I know doesn't even like me, doesn't even know me, right? And so that's it.
When Mel Brooks took his script for the producers to his producer, they were
Lure grenade or showstopper? Isn't a lure grenade better?
Context of characters in the
Or,
story
I'm sorry, isn't a showstopper better? Because doesn't he blow up the lure grenade instantly? I think a showstopper is better.
Because they said Hitler.
Satire of Adolf Hitler, even if it was in the context of characters in the story trying to be offensive on purpose.
Because they said Hitler is too strong, too menacing. How about springtime for Mussolini?
This was 1966, and memories of the Holocaust were still fresh in the minds of people who had been liberated from the camps, as well as the soldiers who did the liberating. To make light of this was to make light of their trauma, and Hitler was the personification of it. But Mel pushed on and said it had to be Hitler, because he understood something they didn't, that the joke he was making wasn't at the expense of the audience. He wasn't really trying to make a joke at all, he was trying to reveal one. In The Producers, the characters are trying to put on a sincere performance of a show that glorifies Hitler, actual Nazi propaganda, but a last-minute substitution of the actor who plays the Fuhrer himself with the cross-dressing director they hired for the play meant that instead of a serious performance, they got a whimsical one.
I don't need this. No, I do want. No, I don't need it.
Now leave me alone.
And that one change completely upends the context. It reveals the extent of the pageantry and the absurdity that made the Nazis' propaganda so effective. It was the very fact itself that you couldn't make
Wait,
fun of them
showstopper only stops him from moving, he will keep shooting?
They used to build themselves up
No.
on the fact that it all had the implicit threat of violence behind it.
You're lying.
You were saying?
The more absurd it was, the greater the strength it conveyed. And once the threat was removed, all that was left was the insecurity that comes with telling people not to laugh at you.
I got you, King. I got you. Kaya, please. Get down.
The Fuhrer had no clothes. Stop me if you've heard this one. A man goes to the doctor, says he's depressed. Life isn't worth living anymore. The doctor says the cure is simple. Go see the great clown Pagliacci. The man bursts into tears. He says, but doctor, I am Pagliacci. There's a lot of fear, a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, and a lot of pain. And there's a lot of anxiety. And the anxiety entrenches all the rest because it tells you that change is impossible, that being happy is perpetually out of reach, that other people will reject you. So you reject them first. You accept the labels put on you as a badge of honor, because at least then it's on your own terms.
Look, I am a Mongoloid. That's not something to be proud of. It is something to be proud of. You want to talk racism? I can be way more racist than you, Angloid.
Maybe Asmongold is happy in the way he lives his life, but his presentation as someone who's happy is why he's so popular. For some, he's the clown, unaware that people are laughing at him.
Has it ever occurred to you that maybe the research was done in a way that was bad?
And for others, he's the aspiration. Instead of being the change, you can simply learn to not care what people think.
You get all these strings attached to you.
Wait. Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, hold on. Oh, this room is such good loot. Fuck! I can't believe I'm wasting my time in here with this fucking showstopper trying to kill a bastard. Okay.
Hey there.
Okay. Wait, is somebody trying to blow it up already? Okay. Whew. Okay. No! No! I fucked up! Wait, why is he already dead? Oh, he's not dead. Oh, he's not dead. He's not dead at all. How to say the Arab prayers? Fuck. No, come back. Okay. 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 No! No! Okay. Okay, shh. Do they have ears? Like, if I run, can they hear me? Do they, like, react to sound, or do they only react to things they see? You gotta climb on top? Do I need to put it on top of it, or do I need to put it on its back? Thanks for the help. How many of these Bastion cores do they normally drop? I just need one more. Please? Oh, that's all I needed.
If you are.
Whoo, God. Damn. Fucking toasted this thing. Give him a core. He left. Fuck him. I need this for Mootin.
Hey, man. Trying to get out of here?
Fuck. Never mind. I should give this guy a thing.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
How do I...
First game after the wipe. Well, I'm struggling.
Oh, first game after the...
No way. For real? Thank you.
Oh, I'm waiting.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Happy holidays,
That's what that guy sounds like. Okay. Jesus.
Bro, and you get enough strings attached to you and you become a puppet.
But no one is truly capable of doing that because we see other people as what they present and we see ourselves as what we feel. That's what self-talk is built out of. Your inner monologue uses the face of someone else to speak, but it uses your voice. If you're worried someone else will laugh at you, that's because you think something is worth making fun of. And that makes people put up their guard and reject vulnerability and deny themselves what they feel and what would make them happy. It's easier to be numb than it is to be sad, but really you aren't numb because all that pressure you need to push down those feelings just makes them that much more forceful.
I'm a nice, easygoing man. I might be a little bit indecisive at times.
Lashing out at perceived slights, looking for some justification to allow yourself to embrace the negativity. Sopranos was a show all about how Tony was constantly pushing down his feelings in order to force himself into the idea of who he wanted to be and how miserable it made him as a result. Breaking Bad is the same. So is practically every Martin Scorsese movie. We make ourselves miserable because we try to fit ourselves into other people's molds, and the more warped it makes us, the more we squeeze to try and fit. And so, like Asmon said about conspiracies, you feel worse, and so you put up more defenses, and that makes you feel even worse, so you put up even more.
This is fun.
And eventually, you're sitting alone, constantly needing to justify to yourself that this is okay, because everyone else is terrible anyway. And at that point, the solution shifts from putting up more guards yourself to getting everyone else to put up their own.
And when everyone's super, no one will be.
Whoa.
Women are Karens, immigrants are criminals, woke is trying to take over. I've talked about horseshoe theory throughout all of this, and this is the true point of connection. A desire to have the world conform to your standard so that everyone has the same guards up.
Pretty soon, everyone will embrace sadness, and there'll be no such thing as smiling!
In a moment where Asmon tries to put forward the idea that people who commit political violence can be judged on the politics because they're acting in a way that's crazy, he manages to touch on the issue I'm talking about.
Like, you shouldn't be looking at what they're saying and trying to blame this on a political party. Yeah, obviously, like, you can talk about how political parties, like, enable violence and certain types of rhetoric, etc. And their mindset it is so far removed from what an average person believes or thinks or behaves. So you trying to use logic to reverse engineer their thinking won't work because they didn't use logic to get there in the first place.
Asmon's touching on the idea that you can't rational someone out of an idea they got to irrationally. I don't think that's necessarily a universal truth, but I do think this is an awareness you need to have about yourself and your own understanding of how you come to certain conclusions. The fundamental issue Asmon misses here is that the rhetoric and political ideology are what create the thought process in people capable of committing violence. It's not that they couldn't find other excuses, it's that the ideology and the rhetoric are how people come to conclusions about how to live and how to act. Someone who isn't a Nazi wouldn't necessarily believe that it's heroic to sacrifice yourself in a blaze of glory for a cause dedicated to racial superiority, but when you're a Nazi, that's the goal. Politicians and pundits provide the means by which we can turn the inscrutable feelings we have about the world into something we can put words to. Some people will find themselves attracted to certain ideas and descriptions that satisfy certain feelings at the expense of others, and the result is that they won't ever be able to deal with the underlying problems they have, creating the frustration that leads to stronger outbursts.
Some people find Jesus, some people find Alex Jones, some people find Antifa.
Saying that someone's mental illness is the main culprit is thought terminating. It allows you to justify and hold on to a way of thinking that continues to ignore deeper problems you might have, instead of trying to reconcile what it is about your ideology that could drive people in that direction.
Research doesn't lie, Jenna, unless us know what we're thinking. What's too boring, what's too gay, what's too old?
The most common belief in the people who commit violent political acts is that they are ultimately saving people. The white supremacists think they're saving vulnerable white people from racial domination, the extremists on the far left think they're saving vulnerable people from their own persecution, and everyone thinks at some level that the Jews are behind it all. Ultimately, in both cases, these actions are about satisfying those surface level feelings at the expense of the deeper ones.
At least I can deal with my own problems, unlike some I know.
And the endless analysis we get of what motivation people have are in turn about soothing that denial in everyone who will, in some way, do the same thing without the violent tendencies. But it is the ideologies on the right that put more focus on the idea of committing this kind of violence. That there is glory in the fight, and that blood and honor are the most important things.
And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
This is a story about big, hairy, muscular men killing each other and dying for honor, glory, tradition.
And while we can find the fictional narratives that explore these beliefs fun, we have to recognize that when they're brought into the real world, they're destructive to how we interact with one another. In truth, it's a way to force people to feel the way you do, and there are people who will take advantage of that. I think that's the biggest irony here. Every claim about Karens Asmon has made is one that he himself has endorsed, but on his terms.
This is bad. I am so fucking upset, and these retards are sitting here making these award shows for other retards, and it's making me mad. They never get challenged to actually improve themselves on a personal level. They just get a fucking vicious cycle of learned helplessness.
His chat even does the same practice of overqualifying questions as sincere to avoid making Asmon mad. I've been there. It sucks, but it's a choice. And though Asmon would say that I'm calling it a choice because I want you to choose differently, I'm really telling you that I want it to be your decision. Whether you stay the same or you try something different, you should do it on your own terms, and not because of what someone else tells you is the right way to be. If you think the world will judge you for it, think about whether it's really what the world thinks, or if it's what you're afraid of the world thinking. It might feel safe to have a wall between you and everyone else, but if the person you don't want to spend time with is yourself, all you've done is build your own trap. Not caring what people think comes from accepting the vulnerability of others so that they can accept the vulnerability of you. It's an act of trust. And all Asmongold has really taught me over the course of this week is that he doesn't trust anyone.
I never trust studies. I never trust experts. I don't trust anybody. The thing that I trust is what I think. All of these different media companies, they are all biased. None of them should be trusted. The only people you should trust are individual YouTube creators, and even them you should take with a massive grain of salt, even including me.
He wants you to feel like you can't laugh at the performance. But I can tell you, looking in from outside, there's nothing worth being afraid of.
If you can't be happy by yourself and you can't be happy by just simply living your life normally, then the problem isn't really with the world, it's with you. And I think that if you can listen to yourself and you can take part in things that you enjoy and you're not doing it for somebody else or for some other reason, you can end up being a happy person. There are people who can find the bad in the good, and there are people who can find the good in the bad. And I think that if you're around a person that finds bad things inside of good things, that is like the closest that you can be to a vampire in your entire life. They are toxic, awful, obnoxious, exhausting, tiresome, annoying, just shitty people, right? They are energy vampires. The moment that you think about something else making you happy or somebody else making you happy or something like that, you have already lost the game. You have to base that off of what you want and what you want to do. That's the only thing that matters. But I think at a certain point, people don't want to take accountability for themselves in their own situation, and they want to look at some external factor and then try to blame that instead. Happiness is a state of lying to yourself that life has no meaning? Well, I don't know. Happiness to me is getting a bag of beef jerky. Happiness to me is finishing a stream and being able to lay down in my nice bed and, I can just relax. Basically, I think everything has to come from within yourself. And if you don't do that, you've got a lot of problems. I could go back and forth about it over and over, but that's basically what I'm saying, okay? Yeah, that's about it. How many soda cups? I don't know, like a lot. Anyway, guys, yeah, I'm going to do this, and actually, I'll figure that.
Do you get why Asmongold is so appealing to so many people? I mean, he's very gamer coded. So like he has a very masculine like disposition and delivery for all of his stuff. He plays video games, so he's got like the credibility. He's got history, so he's already got an established audience. He's a smart person. He's obviously got if we believe in a verbal IQ, I don't know if that's a real thing, but he speaks well. He can like watch stuff and give you some kind of take on it that's going to be whatever the standard kind of populist take is. And then, you know, he's got his community. You know what to expect. He's very like safe and comfortable. You're not going to Asmongold's stream to be like critically challenged much with, you know, your beliefs. Yeah, I think there's always, like, he always seems like relatively calm or unbothered. He tries to be funny. I don't know if he's ever actually upset or mad, only when he plays games. Yeah. Jesus. I still think one of the biggest issues with, a lot of these fucking content creators on Twitch is they just have they don't ever come into contact with people who disagree with them. Everybody is so fucking isolated now. Everybody's so tunneled into their own shit because they know that they can't reasonably justify, I guess, any of their crazy beliefs to anybody else. And I think that when you get locked into that, then I think that you start to get more, like, you get radicalized, like, very, 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 very quickly. Where is the, there's some stupid video of, like, I'm not gonna be able to find it. Oh, wait, it's this.
The Chernobyl X.
Is it this? There's a thing that has, like, these things that bounce around.
Here you see the control rods with the graphite displays has got stuck.
You can see, like, how quickly the reaction gets fucked once it gets, like, past a certain point or whatever. And it, like, grows, I think exponentially is the correct term. But I think this video will play for, like, the original one might be, like, a minute or something. Right. But, like, like, as soon as you, like, you can have people that have different ideologies that interact with each other for months or years and years. And then as soon as you scuttle off into your own corner, I think, like, very, very, very quickly, you can start to get into some crazy fucking areas, which is not good. Maybe it's just me, but I can see the appeal in Hassan. With Asmon, I literally don't get it at all, man. Really? That's crazy to me. I feel like my demeanor is much more similar to Asmongold than it is to Hassan. Like, I feel like Vosh, me, Asmongold have, like, a similar demeanor or disposition. And Hassan would be the one that's a little bit out there. Okay, let me connect real quick. Dracula, Dogma, Unconscious, Kryptonite, Frankenstein, Fixation, Achilles' Heel, Superman, Oedipus Complex, Soft Spot, Little Red Riding Hood, Linklater, Downfall, Darth Vader, Bratz, and Super Ego. Are these things associated with Freud? Bad guys? The fuck is Linklater? Little Red Riding Hood. Oh, one of these is gonna be stupid. Dracula, Frankenstein. Is Dogma a bad guy? Is this like a movie or some bullshit? Linklater. Oh my god. Hold on. A link, a brat, a dog, like a hot dog, and a Frank. I'm a god. I'm a god. I can't even believe I'm a god. I pre-played this. I don't even know how. Just my god. My god. You know what? I feel like I can throw out a 965 right now. Fuck this fucking bullshit ass fucking laggy bullshit. One more. Fuck this game. All right. I'll be back tomorrow. Stay safe. I love you.